Okay.
Hello, welcome. I got something on my back. Where's my other one? Where's the little one at? Small one. Where's the small one at? Oh, there it is over there. How y'all doing today? Welcome, welcome. Here we go. Getting started. Oh no, we got a few more minutes. Welcome everybody. Thank you for coming back. Music. Here we go. Welcome everybody. Thank you for coming back. If you have not been with me this morning, we did some oh God, I had put my glue on here, try for my eyebrows to stay intact. Because you guys, I'm gonna make this here a short one. Simply as the fact that we got a big day tomorrow, a Julio trial with the four guys that had something to do with what if five, the young lady went to court about 6 months ago. That was in October. But she is not off the hook because that they just changed up because that she didn't like the judge. So in this here Julio trial, these are some young gangster gang banger in Jacksonville. Jacksonville, if your kid is it in a gang, when they leave, they're going to be in one. That's a Jacksonville motto up there. So anyway, I have some close friends that's in Jacksonville with their kid. Her nephew, he got into a gang, and I think so. I really don't know what had happened to him, but anyway, but he's no longer with us. Y'all, what finna go down? I've been covering it with Alicia. Andrews when she went, and I'm gonna hope to cover it with these guys here. But just letting you guys know, I'm supposed to be going out for an interview at 12:30. This may mess us up that we probably have to like get the trial at nighttime to know exactly what's going on. I may have to like do it at night. But anyway, what you're about to see on some hens, I'm going to be cutting in and out. I don't know what my moderators at. They probably somewhere out there in those streets, but they'll be coming in here in a little bit. I'm going to be in and out. A lot of this here happened over a 7-year-old boy. When this 7-year-old boy got killed, that's what sparked off. You killed one, now I'm going to kill 4. Okay. I don't know if these kids think so. If they take someone's life, that they's going to come back. I'm going to work this video real hard and stopping it because that it's someone else's video, but they had to get it from somewhere. But I'm going to make sure that I put on here and let them know that it's for education purpose. Okay. And I thank each and everybody that came in here, giving me love and support. So let's get into it. Y'all, this goes on in a lot of cities, but nothing don't go like this here in a city like Jacksonville. Here you go. I'm talking about like city like Jacksonville. If one of their gang members had got a hope to you, we're going to finish you off that you lay up there in that hospital. I'm just saying that's what the street says. Okay, so I gave you that little introduction about what we finna do and what we finna see. We did in fact because of the trial going to start tomorrow, the 8th. And we's going to be covering it. They're going to do all 4 boys. This will be interesting. All 4 boys at one time. Let me put on my mic thing. Come on here, man. Because they ain't going nowhere. Nowhere, nowhere, nowhere. Let me put on my mic. I got so much invested around up in here. Some stuff I don't even put on. Let me just put it on and make it like, because it's coming from the computer. So y'all can hear me good out here in these streets. That y'all know that, yeah, I be doing something around here. Here we go. I'm going to go. Where's Wayne going? Okay. Let's see what happens. Let's see something. Okay. Okay, here we go. Let's get started. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's see. I don't even know I want to basically like go and do his. Okay, here we go.
At the start of 2021, a song called Who I Smoke came out and went mega viral. Now, from the outset, this looked like any innocent hip-hop video, with a bunch of nice-looking, well-dressed young men out on the golf course for an enjoyable day teeing off on the green. These young men seem to be known as ATK, okay. Well, it turns out that that ain't the name of their local golf club. In fact, you might have missed something very important if you didn't pay attention at the start of that video. Because when the first guy tees off his golf ball, a bullet shell casing drops to the ground.
Okay.
And once this subtle reference tolerance to shootings has passed, we then begin to hear a very familiar musical sample, Vanessa Carlton's 1,000 Miles. Well, what a charming song to hit a few balls off the green to, eh? And for the first 30 seconds of the video, all we see is our well-dressed protagonists jamming out to some Vanessa Carlton and having a great day on the course. But at a certain point, the beat drops and these boys go from Tiger Woods to tie him up and put him in a woods. Because what followed was one of the most diabolical and disrespectful diss songs in hip-hop history. This song, Who I Smoke, goes on to reference around half a dozen murdered gang members, many of whom were only teenagers when they were killed. No real guns appear in this music video, only hidden and coded references to violence, like the shell casing dropping to the ground at the start, or the toting of fake water pistols instead of real guns. So the charming settings of the visuals of this music, combined with the demonic gang shit that the rappers are actually speaking about, unsurprisingly made this piece of media go mega viral. And before you know it, it seemed like everybody on social media was singing Who I Smoke. However, very few people took a step back to understand exactly what or who these gang-affiliated golf course gophers were actually talking about.
Okay, let's go right here. Let's go right here. Moderator, if I get a moderator in here, please, I need you to come and drop the, unless I got to go and find it while I'm doing this live. You guys, this is basic is education. I'm just doing commentary on it, okay? And shout out to the young man that basically put his story together, how this will go. As you see down in this video, you're gonna see I'm gonna play around with a lot with it. Hey, Wayne, could you go and give me that disclaimer for education purpose? Boo, thank you. And this is basic that this gentleman put in a lot of work. I follow him, dealing with his work, but I really don't don't want to get no problem with someone you know, give me a copyright, but we're gonna have to see this here. I am basically what we're doing. We are getting prepared of exactly what happened. I think so y'all can hear me. Y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Y'all can hear me? Yeah. For y'all to get a great idea like what actually happened. How did we get to Julio being dead? And I think so Ace is still out there. Here we go. Let Junior talk a little bit more to it. Come on, Junior.
Since then, countless of hilarious reaction videos have been made to Who I Smoke, along with a handful of breakdowns which try to get to the heart of exactly why these two groups in Jacksonville have been beefing for so many years. Now, I've spent the last few weeks taking a closer look at this story, and I would say that until now, nobody has truly captured the magnitude of the wild shit that has gone down between these two groups. And after everything I've learned, I'm honestly convinced that this right here is the bleakest, darkest, and most disrespectful feud in rap, hell, even gang history. Because in many ways, the Jacksonville hoods that the boys involved in this story come from are truly some of the most dangerous and deadly in the entire world. Seriously, some of what you're about to hear today is going to make Chirac look like Disneyland. So buckle up, pour a drink, roll a woods, and prepare yourself for one of the most...
We are getting ready for the trial tomorrow. Julio, as you know, he died, what, about 2-3 years ago now? From his 5 cold conspiracy. They killed him. So they had the girl trial. She came out, did in fact with manslaughter. Her lawyer want her to walk out the door. Y'all be talking about Jacksonville. And the 4 guys is going on trial starting tomorrow. Okay. And I'm going to be covering it all the way. I'm just giving y'all a warm up. What happened and how did they get here? We even got little babies that got shot at 7 years old. You take 1 and I'm going to take 4 of y'all. I'm just saying, I mean, so Wayne going to get me that. So all this is basic education purpose. I'm just doing my commentary based on this here, what is happening right here. When Wayne come back, he should have it. I don't know why I don't have it in the back. Hold on a second. I must break into these videos as he talks. Come on here. Come on, Junior.
Most craziest and heartbreaking stories that hip hop has ever seen. But allow me to warn you people, this one is not for the faint of heart.
All right, now come on here.
Today's story takes place in Jacksonville in the northeast of Florida. Now, many decades ago, Jacksonville became a consolidated city-county with Duval County. This created one metropolitan area called the City of Jacksonville and Duval County, an enormous area which actually is the most populated city in all of Florida. Now, that's not strictly important for this story, but sometimes you might hear people referencing things that went down in Jacksonville or Duval County. Just know that they're basically one and the same. Now, if you've been a fan of Florida rappers like YNW Melly, then you'll know that guns are readily available in the state of Florida. In fact, the majority of people in the state seem to be armed to the teeth. And much like the city itself, the gang...
Nelly, this kid, oh God, the one that he was saying just a few minutes ago, Nelly went to school with my daughter. Hello, my queen diva. Nelly had went to school with my daughter in Port St. Lucie. Okay, and he'll go down to Port St. Lucie down to Pompano Beach, Florida. Come on, try to move that. Oh, yes, it is. It's a little chill outside. My goodness, mine. He just basically getting around, but he was skipping school. He was a mess in Port St. Lucie. Okay, so let's go ahead and see whatever. We thank you, Wayne. I wish that somehow or another I got to say that. Add to, no, I don't want to add to the block list. I know I don't want to add. I need that. So anyway, just letting you know, this is basically going on. We're gonna see why everybody's so mad over there. Okay, now let's go here. Move that thing. Move it. Okay. Thank you, Wayne. So I'm going to read this here. This is a disclaimer on the Section Act 107 under the section allowance is made for fair use for all purposes such as criticism, commenting. That's what I'm doing. Criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. This channel is for mature audience only. Parental. Dissension is advised. Okay. Thank you. Good morning, Scooters. Good morning. Now we're gonna go over here, y'all. I'm gonna be switching it up. I got 6 videos in the back, so I won't keep you boring. But I'm just trying to bring you up on the height. What is going on here? Okay, here we go.
Gangs that roam the streets of Jacksonville have a long history too. Over the past few decades, many gangs and gangsters have called Jacksonville, Florida their home. From Rolling 20s Bloods to Crips, GDs, and Hispanic gangs like MS-13 fleeing other states and setting up shop in Jacksonville. However, the gangsters that we're interested in for the sake of this story are those talented ones who rap. And when it comes to Jacksonville, one of the biggest names to ever come out of the city is, of course, Youngin Ace. Real name Kayanta Bullard, Ace was born in Chicago but moved to Florida as a child. He actually started rapping at the young age of 14, finding himself rolling with a crew of rapping G's called Youngin Gang, a crew apparently founded by Flip the Youngin and Trigger Romo.
They were older than me, I was younger.
Oh, okay.
But they name we should spell it like Y-U-N-G.
So Ace, along with his Youngin Gang boys, made songs like the early track Go to War, which came along with a music video where they were showing off some heavy artillery. Hell, at one point a dude even pulls out a World War I looking rifle with a goddamn bayonet at the end. Guess these guys are in the trenches for real, for real. Now that music video introduced us to a few other familiar faces that were around Ace in the early days of his career. That includes Ace's blood brother Quan or 2 Times, and his close homie 23 or RJ. Now this was Ace's first big breakout song, racking up a whopping 100k views in the first week, going on to rack up a Big Boy M. This was the song that made Ace a bona fide rapper. And
okay, I want to tell you something. With this here song, these kids was raised with no father. And the songs that they are singing this song about their life. Lights wasn't on, no food in the house. They had to go and steal something to make for mama to cook. Now at the age of 14, they had to go ahead and make their way. Come on, somebody.
Despite a minor setback with Ace getting sent to jail on a juvenile charge, with his first taste for success in the music industry, Ace would continue to flood the market with music and raise his profile. So with a lot of success in the rap game and a solid reputation in the streets, Ace's circle of influence in Jacksonville would continue to grow, and over time, fans would begin to recognize the faces of people in his crew. Other people include Kobe, aka 4, Fast Money Goon, Rollo, Red Dot, D De Niro, Ray Spaz, Trey Shorty, Crazy K, Sosa, or Scotty. Now, at a certain point later on in the story, Ace lost a few of his day one homies and would move away from the Youngin gang, which was originally made up of Ace's day one homies more from the Orange Park and west side of Jacksonville. However, over time and as the story develops, Ace and his remaining friends from the west would grow close to a number of crews on the east side of Jacksonville, forming a new group of crews which would roll together under the name of ATK, something which most people seem to understand as standing for Ace's Top Killers, but for the record, other people have described ATK as potentially standing for Ace to Kill, Aim to Kill, or just being short for attack. So this crew, as they were known, would soon become affiliated with the Melvin Park area of Jacksonville, with several people that represent under the ATK banner hailing from there, including the supposed Demon of Jacksonville, Queso. Now, we're going to learn more about this guy as the story goes on, but let me tell you, he is super scary. By his own admission, Queso will quite literally kill for anything.
I'll kill you if you're staring at my grandpa DeVos. My mama told me chill, cause I be killing niggas. Man, for real, I be really killing niggas. I don't tell lies. All I do is stay facts. Kill any nigga. I do not care where he at.
He ain't lying. We've also got Queso's brother, Boss Goon, ATKYBZ, and also affiliated with ATK are the crew 1200, hailing out of 1200 block on the east side, a crew which back in the day has been referred to as 187 or Out West. Now this crew is affiliated with an area running from the TIAA Bank Field to Evergreen Cemetery and up to just before 21st Street. Some members of this group have been known to represent under the S4C, meaning Spaz for Corbin, a reference to a fallen friend of theirs. And you might also see Jump Out or Cuckoo Gang affiliated with members of this group too. And hailing from this area are several familiar faces such as Spinner Benz and his blood brother Whopper Wit the Chopper, aka Ducci, as well as AT Michi, Bevel 5 or B5, Lil Popper, Greenlight, Lil Leaky, and Suge. So that's the ATK crew. Now let's have a look at their ops, KTA. But first, a word from our sponsor. I'd like to thank the Dr. Phone Virtual Location Changer for iOS for sponsoring today's video. Jeez. Listen, yo. Dr. Phone such as Callaway Cove, the Washington Heights Apartments, and Ken Knight Drive. And Vontaland is where Folio's friend Rod K is from. You've also got A Block, which really just refers to the Arlington area in Jacksonville, an area which is geographically in the east of Jacksonville, but considered the south side by the people that live there. And now this brings us to the Y&R crew. Sometimes referred to as Dankway or A Block in the past, Y&R is an Arlington-based squad of extremely feared gangsters in Jacksonville, with many of the following members having been associated with, but for the record, not proven to have been involved with a lot of the more serious altercations between these two crews. You've got people like Y&R Mookie, Cho, Bree, Lil Ron, Y&R Slugger T, who for the record, being one of the only white guys involved with these crews, seems to attract some pretty crazy and kind of funny comments online. For the record, I think Y&R Slugger T looks like a pretty tough guy who looks right at home in Y&R, and for the record, I also do not want any problems. Anywho, also repping these parts is Baby 9, aka Juju, Lil 9, and Mr. Beatbox himself, Spot'em Got'em, who's apparently originally from Lackawanna on Jacksonville's west side, but he's known to rep Arlington, showing love to his set by spending one of the early bags that he got on this bust down Y&R chain. And funnily enough, on the day of recording this, I just found out that he apparently dropped that chain off a jet ski. Anyway.
Got another piece, man. 30 ball in the fucking water. 30 ball in the water, bro.
Like I said before, that's not everybody that's associated with Folio, 6 Block, or KTA, but just some important faces that are going to be relevant for this story. And just for the record, so that it's super easy for you guys to understand, Arlington is from A Block, which is considered the south side of Jacksonville. Folio is from 6 Block, considered the north side of Jacksonville, most dangerous side. So that's north and south under KTA territory. You've got Youngin Ace, who is originally from the west side, but eventually ATK ended up including a lot of people and crews from the east side too. So basically what you got going on in Jacksonville is north and south beefing with east and west. I hope that makes it a bit easier to understand. So now you know the people involved, the turf being fought over, and the history of crime in the city, you're ready to take a closer look at why these two groups started feuding and how this became one of the most deadly feuds in rap history. When he was asked why rappers in Jacksonville beef, Folio said that there were 3 reasons.
Respect, niggas, it be a respect thing, then it be a nigga neighborhood where you from.
And then it be niggas dead homeboys, like, you disrespecting my dead homeboy, so now I wanna diss your dead, you get what I'm saying?
Well, you are gonna see a heck of a lot of all three of those things going on throughout this beef. Weirdly, apparently Foolio was even cool with some of the ATK members back in the day, with Foolio having said numerous times that some of the ATK members, like Whopper with a Chopper, having appeared in one of his early music videos.
Whopper and all them type niggas, they used to be in my videos type shit.
Meanwhile, Spinner Benz has said himself that he's been involved in street beefs since the early years of 2012. Now look, it's pretty difficult to trace things back right to the beginning when these beefs kicked off between whoever was involved back in the early days. And it's clear that a lot of the bad blood in the Jacksonville gang community has been passed down from older generations of gangsters that have been beefing over all sorts of things for years and years. But at the very least, there are a handful of inciting incidents that can help explain some of the earliest catalysts in the beef between ATK and KTA. The killing of 22-month-old Aiden McClendon on January 2016 was an early milestone in the PCE gang war. It's been alleged that the drive-by that ended up killing that child was a direct retaliation for a shooting that happened earlier that day. But when you look closer at that particular case, it was actually revealed that things had kicked off a year before this, with these two crews facing off at a Kodak Black concert in Jacksonville. Apparently Kodak was on the road playing a show in Jacksonville when members from both sides found themselves in attendance. First Coast News published an article about the Aiden McClendon case, which suggested that it was actually a turned-down handshake at this Kodak Black show, which led to a fist fight, which led to tit-for-tat shootings, ultimately culminating in the Aiden McClendon case. This beef was apparently between members of PCE and 187 Out West, the crews that would later evolve into KTA and ATK respectively. So in November 2015, these two crews have a beef over a handshake at a Kodak Black concert. In December 2015, Suge, real name Avery McKnight, is killed in a drive-by that injured two others, including a 3-year-old child.
In the last 90 minutes, we've learned 3 people were shot, and the search is on now for 2 suspects.
JSO says they spoke to a witness who saw a black Toyota Camry speed off from this area. This is the area where the shooting happened. The man who died was actually shot right on the front porch of the 2-story house you see just down the street with the rusted roof.
And for the record, it's been referenced in both songs and YouTube documentaries that somehow a bicycle was involved in the Suge killing. Now, as we get into 2016, this is a period where the beef between these two crews gets a little bit hazy. There's plenty of unsubstantiated rumors floating around the internet regarding robberies, fights, and shootings between these crews following the killing of Aiden McClendon. I'm sure there was plenty of bloodshed between these two groups in 2016, but the one thing we know for sure is that the most devastating escalation of this beef took place on May 27th, 2017. On this day, Foolio's blood cousin, 18-year-old Zion Brown, aka Tweaking Jit, was at home with his younger sisters aged 16 and 9. Allegedly, somebody from the ATK side of the beef smashed through a glass door on the house with a brick, entering Brown's home, firing multiple shots, killing Zion Brown, and hitting his 2 younger sisters.
The teenager tells News4Jax that her family was woken up about 1:30 in the morning Saturday when a brick came crashing through a sliding glass door in the back of their house.
18-year-old Zion Brown was the only adult in the home, along with 2 teens, a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old boy.
According to witnesses, Thomas broke out a sliding glass door, walked inside, and began shooting, hitting a 9-year-old and a teenager. They are recovering. 18-year-old Zion Brown died at the hospital.
DeAndre Thomas, aka Trey Shorty, was identified as the shooter and ended up facing murder and double attempted murder charges.
Police make an arrest in a shooting that killed an 18-year-old.
Today, police said DeAndre Thomas was the shooter. They charged him with murder.
Story goes, the wounded 16-year-old girl who survived the incident identified DeAndre as the shooter, apparently already knowing him as a mutual friend on Facebook. Now, here's where things get a bit crazy, because that shooter had previously been charged as an accomplice in a robbery case with youngin Ace as his co-defendant. Now, a lot of speculation has been thrown around since this incident as to whether Ace had any knowledge of the hit, or if he or somebody he knows was even an accomplice there that day. For the record, there is absolutely no public evidence Ace was.
Those of you just come in, youngest Ace is the one that was at the golf course. Okay, the kid that had the golf court, but now Foolio. Let's go on. Let's do it. Come on.
Involved in that hit. However, the news did say that they believe that Trey Shorty was not alone when he entered Zion Brown's home.
Investigators believe Thomas was not alone when he shot Brown and 2 children.
Regardless, Trey Shorty was later found guilty of the murder of Zion Brown and sentenced to life in prison, where he remains today, having lost all of his freedom as well as his hair. Now, Zion's sister even ended up dropping a tribute song for her fallen brother, and her involvement in this story is going to get crazy later on, so just remember her and what she had going on. But regardless, after what happened to Zion Brown, even with Trey Shorty in jail, the KTA side of the beef knew that somebody else was involved in this incident and they were looking for get back. In the months that followed, the ops were hungry for revenge on the ATK side of the beef. In a May 2018 interview with My Mixtapes, Youngin Ace said that during this period his house had been shot up with his own mother inside it.
This used to be my room right here. Them boys shot my house up. I was right there on the bed, me and my little brother Quan. They shot my mama's house up. They shot this part right up. My mama was in the room, they shot that bitch up. My house always got shot up. They always spent on my shit. But then we doubling back though, for real. Come here though.
However, I doubt Ace could have possibly ever imagined just how bad things could have gotten following this incident. Because soon Ace would be facing tragedy on a scale I don't think I've ever seen in hip hop or even crime history before. I'm talking about that terrifying and tragic night when Ace lost 3 of his closest friends right in front of his very eyes.
Hey, don't get down.
On Tuesday, the 5th of June, 2018, Youngin Ace was out celebrating the 18th birthday of his close friend, 23, aka RJ, real name Royale Devon Smith Jr. They were seen with Ace's blood brother Quan, real name Trayvon Bullard, as well as their other friend, 4, aka Kobe, real name Jacoby Deshard Groover. And the 4 boys were seen posting on social media in good spirits on their way to dinner.
I made it, ain't understand it all.
Oh, I just gotta take it out. I gotta take it.
So these 4 young men.
These here 4 young men. See, that's Ace right here. All of the, it's gonna be 4 of them. All of those are Ace gang. They went out to dinner for their birthday. This is Ace people. And you'll see 4 in the car, and you'll see exactly how this is, how the beef start really do starting up. For where the Fulio wind up there. Let's go. Come on, baby.
Out celebrating and having a meal at the Wasabi Japanese Steakhouse in Jacksonville's St. John's Town Center. This is an open-air mall in the southeast of Jacksonville. Now, while they were there, they made numerous posts to social media, and perhaps it was these very posts right outside the restaurant that they ate at that alerted the ops of Ace and his friend's location. I mean, this image, for example, quite clearly shows the red shutters at the back of that Wasabi restaurant. And I mean no disrespect, but I've never been to Jacksonville in my entire life, but I was able to spot the exact place that they were standing on Google Maps within minutes of pulling up this area on Street View, not even looking that hard. Now, Ace has gone on to say in numerous interviews that he really regrets letting his guard down on this day.
We don't never go out to eat because we don't do nothing fun.
Right, yeah.
So that was like our first time going out like that. And like, I ain't gonna lie, we was slipping.
According to Ace's Vlad TV interview, after the meal, the 4 boys were hanging out in the area and things were cool, perhaps too cool.
We was coming from Wasabi. It was my little brother's 23rd birthday. And we was just hanging. We pulled up to the light. We was leaving the shit. We was really hanging. Like I said, we were hanging out though. We weren't, you know what I'm saying? We was just hanging out though. We had our guard down. That's what it was.
Now, allegedly, a witness said that there was some kind of argument or altercation between the 4 guys and some other boys at the location they had dinner. However, this is a detail that Youngin Ace has never acknowledged in an interview. However, what he has stated is that he felt that there were people hiding and waiting in that parking lot for his friends to leave.
Okay, ain't nobody just gonna just creep up on me like that.
Yeah.
They have to been sitting outside.
So after leaving the restaurant, the 4 boys got in a car and drove to the intersection at Town Center Parkway and St. John's Bluff, with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office saying that when they got to the red light, another unidentified vehicle pulled up alongside their Chevy sedan, opening fire and then speeding off.
Police say the shooter or shooters pulled up in a car next to the victims at the 295 and Town Center Parkway stoplight before opening fire. Last night we showed you one side of the Chevy sedan full of bullet holes.
This scene was frankly a bloodbath. Some have said that as many as 120 bullets were fired from automatic weapons. And Ace himself later described the scene of the crime in a harrowing, complex interview.
Oh, you hear shots? I blew at the red light. One of them hit my hand right here. When it hit my hand, my phone dropped. I blinked out, but I could hear my little brother on the side of 23. My blood little brother was behind me, and my brother 4 was on the side of him. I blinked out. I even forget my little brother behind me. But I hear 23 screaming on the side of me and like shield him, like from getting hit. You feel what I'm saying? One of my brothers named 4, he was sitting on the behind the driver's seat. He told me to call the ambulance, but 23 on the floor telling me like, I can't move. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, unlock the door, open the door, open the door. He trying to open it, but he can't really move how he want to. So I end up unlocking the door. They still shooting though, you hear me? So I open the door and I push him out. While I'm pushing him out, I'm coming out too though. They ripped my shirt. So, but when we got out, the car was still in drive, so it kept moving. So I go put it in the park. But I'm moving around. I'm not knowing how many times I'm shot, but I know I'm shot. I think I got shot in like my legs or some shit. But I got shot in my butt.
Fortunately, Young and Ace survived the shooting, but he was hit 8 times. However, all 3 of his friends were less fortunate and lost their lives. Ace's blood brother, Trayvon Bullard, aka Quan Quan, aka 2 times, was shot 3 times, including a shot to the head. 23, aka RJ, real name Royale Devon Smith Jr., was shot around 5 times. And 4, aka Kobe, aka Jacoby Deshard Groover, was shot around 12 times. I can't imagine how hurt Ace's heart and body were after this incident. Ace was seen laid up in the hospital, hurt pretty bad, but managed to fight through it and recover in what can only be described as a genuine miracle. But it can't have been easy. In fact, a clip even circulated on social media seemingly depicted Ace in the hospital, looking kind of delirious off the painkillers, replaying the incident.
I tried to come for him, but I tried to hold RJ. I'm trying to hold him, I'm trying to RJ open the door. I open the door, I'm pushing him out. I'm like, bro, I got you, bro, I got you. He grabbed my shirt, I'm like, bro, I can't move. He tell me he can't move, I jump out the car. Cope open the door. Cope said, call it anywhere. It's Cope.
But to make things even worse, Ace ended up getting done pretty dirty by the authorities and the American health system. Because Ace apparently didn't have any medical insurance, and the sheriff's department that should have stepped in and made sure that he got the medical care that he needed didn't do that, with Ace basically not getting the medicine he needed and being thrown out of the hospital early, with numerous bullets still inside him.
He'd been shot 8 times, and I believe at that point we had 3 or 4 or 8 bullets inside of him still, considering he really needed to go to a hospital. Because he didn't have insurance, the hospital wouldn't take the bullets out of him. So while he was in custody, it was really became that part, it was the responsibility of the sheriff's office to make sure he got the medical care he needed. Sheriff's office didn't give him medical care, they didn't give him antibiotics, and they basically just left him in there.
Ace would later post to Instagram following the incident, saying he got 8 shots to the body but survived, as well as suggesting that he had tried to shield his brother 23 from the bullets, something he elaborated on in heartbreaking detail in this DJ Vlad interview.
So I tried to shield him and make sure he was good, but I couldn't shield everybody though.
Ace went on to memorialize his 3 fallen brothers in his flesh, tattooing all 3 of their faces onto his stomach.
It's his name 2 times, right in the middle.
Okay.
23 on the side. That's 23 my best friend.
Okay.
Hey, I love you, but shit.
Now, initially, cops put it out there publicly that this was gang-related.
Right now, JSO is searching for whoever fired the shots that killed 3 teenagers and sent a 4th to the hospital.
JSO says the shooting was not a random act and that one of the victims and the survivor are gang members.
Keontae Bullard, known as Young Ace, is the sole survivor of a quadruple shooting not far from the St. John's Town Center. His 3 teenage friends, Trayvon Bullard, Royale Devon Smith Jr., and Jacoby Deshard Grover, were killed. Ace's friend spoke with Action News Jax anonymously.
Yeah, they killed 3 people, but 1 of them still alive, so whoever they come back for.
However, despite Jacksonville's amazing detectives working out that this was gang-related, there was 0 arrests made in the case. Another detail Ace recounted with...
Okay, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna talk to you about this here. All this here happening, you will see later on in this video, and I'm gonna bring up some other video to let you guys know what type of trial we dealing with tomorrow with the 4 guys up there. You're going to see is a man, one of the kids' father, is going to turn state on his son for the father to walk. His father gave him his first pow. Wayne, if you're around, please drop me in, for this is for education purpose, okay? So just letting you know, here we go. So much that I want to get into you guys. Let's go. Where we at? Come on, Junior. Come on now, bring it on. Go ahead.
Great discomfort in his Vlad interview.
Were there any arrests made in this whole situation?
Oh, no.
No.
Oh wait, no, scratch that. The cops actually did make one arrest after this incident, Ace himself, who ended up in jail, still injured, for violating his probation because he had been seen at a gun store earlier that day, holding an unloaded firearm in a gun store, which apparently he wasn't allowed to do.
Police say Kenyatta Bullard, who is also known by his rapper name Young and Ace, is charged with violation of probation. Last October, Bullard was sentenced to 31 months probation after appearing before a Clay County judge and pleading no contest to accessory after the fact.
Well, police say he had a firearm on him, which is against his probation, of course. So this morning he is in jail, set to make his first appearance in less than an hour from now. It appears some people, though, are a bit upset and angry about Bullard's arrest. JSO says its communications center received nearly 700 calls in about an hour and a half's time because of a social media post related to the arrest. They say the post advises he is supposed to be in the hospital right now, but is in jail instead.
Kent, when we put Kenyatta Bullard's image on the news that night, someone who had been at Shooters here on University Boulevard recognized him from just hours earlier. Hours before the shooting, he was shopping at Shooters on University Boulevard.
So they had Ace all up in court, denying him bail, while he was still suffering from his injuries, with 6 bullets still in his body and Ace struggling to even stand. And after getting to jail, things didn't get better for Ace, because they made him shave off his trademark hair and refused to let him go to his brother's funerals. And hell, apparently at one point they even tried to give Ace the YNW Melly treatment, attempting to pin the blame for the triple shooting on Ace himself.
They were like I said, a lot of people, they were blaming me for it. Like, even the police would tell my mama that, oh, I did it.
Later that month, thankfully, Ace's lawyer was able to get him out of jail, but not scot-free. He was placed on house arrest and had his probation reinstated. But at least he was free and able to get back to what really matters. No, not sweet vengeance, music.
Laying in the hospital bed, they shots to my body, and on my mind and my brothers. They say, them 3 didn't make it. Tears full of pain, no other way I can take it. Heartbroken, body filled with wounds, the jail ain't giving my medication. Stuck in confinement, wondering where the hell is my destination. Seeing my mama cry, my motivation. I know I'm blessed, God here to save me. Some say, I'm a walking miracle.
So Ace got out of jail and channeled his emotion and his pain, quite literally, into his music. With a headline track titled Pain, with his song Pain reflecting on the incident and his feelings about it becoming his biggest song at the time. The song Pain was from his Life I'm Living mixtape, which for the record also had the NBA YoungBoy assisted banger Gifted, which makes sense to me because from having listened to quite a lot of Young and Ace, I feel like my best description of him is like a Floridian NBA YoungBoy who's actually a bit easier to understand. Anywho, thankfully, Young and Ace was able to survive this tragic incident, still breathing and still recording. However, there was one person not quite as happy as me to see Ace survive, and that was Foolio. Because if you think disrespecting the dead is somehow something new that was invented by these guys recently, you are mistaken. Because not long after the shooting happened, Foolio took to social media, not only giving the impression that he knew something about the shooting, but also suggesting that he initially thought Ace had passed away too.
Them boy lost the Fortnite match. I took on up cold summer alert, man. 2-3 pack, man. Ace pack, bitch.
I don't know what happened to the nigga Ace and his brother and shit. Get well, Ace, you know, condolences to your family. Fuck them other niggas, I don't give a fuck. Fuck, nigga, no, I don't even really fuck with Ace like that. And I don't really too much give a fuck about none of the situations. But you know, nobody deserves to die. But you know, karma is real. Fucking nigga talking about, and all you outside rappers that's mad.
In fact, it almost seemed like every single day that passed, Foolio would find a new way to disrespect Ace and his fallen friends. He was having t-shirts printed, Foolio took to his IG story to tell his fans that he was smoking on the ops, going as far to call them by their government names just in case the police's case wasn't tight enough.
Royale Smith, this that 4X, who else that is? Around
a month after the shooting, Foolio dropped the song Fuck That, which had disses aimed towards Young and Ace.
Okay. Foolio, the one that we are. I hope you get it. Okay. Let me tell you something. Julio started. Remember now, Julio and that boy was friends. Julio started on the boy because the boy brother had died and 2 of his friends died. So Julio kept doing this here, got a picture of them, and he just kept on nagging the guy. But let's go ahead. Let's see. This is all for education. I got to get the 411. The hell, what? On these people in Florida should they? Yeah. So anyway, Julio Fudio just did a whole lot of picking. And we're gonna let Junior continue to tell us. All this is allegedly. We are getting ready for the trial tomorrow. The last four that participate in the taking out Julio Fulio life. Go ahead, Junior.
And references towards the hit, with Fulio saying he puts on his ski mask, calls up P, and tries to shoot threes, saying that chopper turned Ace's team to dust, saying he could have killed a rapper, saying his team are 5 bodies up, and on the chorus of the song, Fulio did one of the craziest things I've ever seen in a rap beef ever, saying that the whole city wants to kill him and then rapping his actual home address. Now, this perhaps wasn't such a good idea, considering the fact that Fulio would later reveal that the same year that he rapped those lyrics, his house got shot up with his mother catching a stray bullet.
Nah, my house had got shot up. The nigga had spent on my house and shit like that, and my mama got hit one time.
Considering how grisly the hit on Ace and his brothers were, it's no surprise that deadly retaliation was only around the corner. On July 23rd, 2018, a reunion was taking place on Jacksonville's east side at Philip Randolph Park, with around 1,000 people in the area. The following Facebook video captured the moment that gunshots were fired in the crowd, causing a panic in the park.
It appears to show a woman running from gunfire at a block party in Jacksonville.
Action News Jax first broke this story last night. Police say a man was killed when dozens of rounds were fired on A. Philip Randolph Boulevard. JSO told Action News Jax Brittany Donovan that 1,000 people were at the block party at that time.
It turns out that these shots had been fired at a man named Lawrence Davis, aka Trey D, aka 8. He was a close friend of Fulio's who would sadly pass away later in the hospital.
Has identified the 21-year-old man killed during a local reunion on the east side. Investigators said that Lawrence David was shot to death Saturday.
A few weeks after this, 6 Block tried to retaliate for Trey D's killing, an incident where 3 people were shot.
Okay, this is kind of funny. So Lil Popper actually copyright claimed this video before I took it live because he'd used the audio from this news report in a song and put it on Spotify without permission. So I can't show you the news report. And funnily enough, this claim obviously led me to discover that it was actually him that got shot in this incident, Lil Popper. He actually talks about it in the song Purple Heart, which I can't show you any of because he's copyrighted it, but there you go, fun fact.
It was also this month in July 2018 that a young man named Corbin would go missing, and he wouldn't be heard from again for an entire year.
Where is Corbin Johnson? The 18-year-old's parents say they dropped him off last week at a job interview and they never saw him again. Now, if you're thinking maybe the teenager just ran away, Jacksonville police say they don't think so.
Corbin's parents say they have no idea where their son is after his friends called looking for him too. His parents say their son often hung out with friends on the city's east side of town.
Now, unfortunately, also as we get towards the end of 2018, young and Ace would unfortunately find himself back in jail again for violating his probation. But what did he do to violate it? He went to the mall without permission. Ace turned himself in, posting a social media clip telling his fans that by the time you see this, I'll already be in jail.
I'm out this bitch now. I ain't gonna lie. Shit, I post this video out there in jail right now. I already knew this shit would come here. They don't wanna never see a nigga win, they wanna see a nigga. You know what I'm saying? But I knew this was coming. But yeah, they done took me to jail. If you see the video, I'm already in jail. Shit.
Meanwhile, Fulio is continuing to make music and pick up a buzz. It's actually around this time that he drops his 6toven project with Zaytoven, as well as the song Dirk's Story, a tribute to that fallen friend of his that passed in 2014, where he told the story of them going from enemies to friends and saying that Dirk was set up. In that song, Fulio also expressed hurt he felt for the murders of his cousin Zion and Trey D, with the music video for Dirk's Story being a basic but very moving montage of throwback pics of Fulio and his friends. However, Fulio would soon go from mourning death to celebrating it, as another significant escalation in this feud would come on the 16th of January 2019. On this day, Young and Ace would release the song 2 Times Screamin', an emotional track reflecting on that night where his bros, including 2 Times, were murdered. However, on that very same day, only months after being released from jail on a whopping 10-year sentence, ATK affiliate Willie Addison, aka Boss Goon, is performing at the Paradise Club in Spring Park on Bat Meadows. However, after he finished performing, he gets into a car and leaves the venue with his blood brother Queso, their father, and 3 other friends. But when that car gets to Emerson Street near Spring Park Road, another car pulls up, opening fire on the packed Chevy Tahoe, with all 6 people inside the car getting hit. Bosgoon unfortunately didn't make it, with his father describing on the news the grisly scene as he drove the whole car to the hospital after they were shot up.
He was in the truck with 5 other people. His dad, Abdul Robinson, was driving.
I guess 2 or 3 cars pulled up on the side of us, shot inside our car over 100 times, killed my son in the front seat, shot my son in the back, in the head 3 times, shot my nephew several times, a couple more passengers in there were shot several times, numerous of times, and I drove all the way from there to Memorial Hospital, shot in the back myself twice.
The murder of Bosgoon was nearly worse than the Ace hit. With 6 people in that car all being hit, it's actually a miracle that 5 of them even survived. Which is why it's doubly disrespectful that immediately after this incident, Fulio was mocking the recently deceased Bosgoon on social media heavily, saying horrible things like he deserved it.
Family and friends tell me he did not deserve.
That fuck nigga deserved to die. Bitch ass.
As well as showing off a pack saying that he is smoking on Willie.
The American Pie, that's what we gonna call him, the American Pie Willie. He ain't make it, Willie Rollo, he ain't make it.
Ironically, Willie's father told the news following his son's murder that he wouldn't be seeking revenge.
He wants people to know he's not retaliating for the murder of his son.
I want justice for my son. I'm not sending nobody out there. They got quote unquote, I'm supposed to have hits.
Well, maybe he's not going for revenge, but the same couldn't be said for his other son, Queso. In the weeks that followed the murder of Bosgoon, there were deadly shootouts between both of these crews. And 2 weeks after Bosgoon's assassination, 50-year-old Damon Rothermel was shot and killed while riding his bike on Emerson Street. An innocent bystander apparently hit by a stray bullet fired during a shootout between 2 cars involved in this beef.
Shortly after 1 p.m. Thursday, Emerson Street became a major crime scene following a deadly shooting. Witnesses say it sounded like a gun battle between 2 parties in separate vehicles. By the time the gunfire ended and the shooters were long gone, a bicyclist was found in the street on the ground. Witnesses say he had been hit by gunfire. The man was pronounced dead at the scene.
Now, the cops would later charge Dominique Barner from ATK with the shooting of this bystander. And remember that for later because it's important. Because Barner wasn't arrested for that crime for over a year. And over this period of time, he would allegedly continue to be a serious shooter for the ATK side. Now, naturally, all of this activity in the streets attracted the attention of the JSO Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, who swept up numerous KTA affiliates who had been seen in music videos toting guns in what was known as Operation Wrap Up.
6 people arrested in Operation Wrap Up. Right now, police are searching for 3 others.
This is some pictures of videos that they've had, and you can see in these pictures that these men or these teenagers actually have guns and they're pointing at the screen. Now, the sheriff says that these 9 people, even though they're still looking for 3, can be linked to some very serious crimes, recent crimes here in Jacksonville.
However, they clearly didn't get the most motivated of shooters, because allegedly in February 2019, Queso would avenge his fallen brother by taking the life of a KTA affiliate incredibly close to Fulio, killing a 16-year-old boy with probably the most famous name associated with this entire beef, Bibby.
And a 16-year-old.
Gunfire erupts inside a Northwest Side apartment complex. It leaves this 16-year-old dead. Neighbors say that the shooting sounded like a war zone. Sky 4 captured the large crime scene outside the Hilltop Village apartment complex off 45th Street just before 3 this afternoon.
Family members have identified the 16-year-old boy who was shot and killed inside the parking lot of Hilltop apartment complex as Andrian Gaynor Jr.
Yes, several hours ago, there was a large group of people that gathered here at this memorial site to pay respects to the young man who lost his life here. Eyewitnesses are telling us now that Gaynor was being chased to this exact spot where he lost his life.
On February 25th, 2019, 16-year-old Adrian Gaynor Jr., aka Bibby, was shot dead in a brazen attack carried out with automatic weapons at the Hilltop Village Apartments in Jacksonville. This hit was allegedly carried out by Queso, and today he is still being held on charges of murder for this case. However, just like we said earlier that Barner wasn't charged for quite some time, Queso would remain free for over 2 years after the murder of Bibby. And I'll be honest, Queso pretty much spent that entire 2 years on a self-snitching world tour. In fact, the event potential indictment against Queso for Bibi's murder included references to social media posts Queso had made where he appeared to mock Bibi's death and take responsibility for it.
The report also says Robinson, quote, posted several photographs and videos bragging about the murder. It took 2 years before police issued this arrest warrant for Robinson.
A few days after the killing, Bibi's mother marched, vowing to get justice for her son.
This evening, loved ones gathered to remember a local 16-year-old. He was shot and killed in the parking lot of a Northwest Jacksonville apartment complex.
For the first time tonight, we're hearing from Adrian Gaynor's family, who's seeking justice for his death.
Okay. Let me tell you. Let me give you guys a little bit more up to date. This here video here is bringing us step by step to Julio and Ace. As you watch this video, you will see that grown people, adults, was involved in making sure the kids got the firearm. Adults was involved that they turn on their own children, so they won't get no time, but their child get life. How y'all doing today? If I'm talking good, let me know. This is for education purpose. I don't have the right to the music that's in the background. I'm gonna have to take out the music, and also to what is going to happen. Thank everybody for coming over. This is a disclaimer under the Section Act 107. On the Section Act, allow is made for fair use. I'm using fair use on this. I don't want the right to this. All purpose such as criticism and comment, news reporting, okay, teaching, scholarship, and research. Okay, thank you. Because you hear a little music basically in the background, okay? So this is very, very dangerous. So tomorrow, when we start covering the Julio show, Julio, the judge said that it was jury will start be picking tomorrow. She said that we all four cold offended that's there with the shooters. She said that the trial would go on till May 15th. Okay, here we go.
We pray for the mother of God, Miss Elizabeth, oh Father Lord. God,
as friends and relatives gathered under this gazebo to remember 16-year-old Adrian Gaynor, his mom and his grandmother begged for the violence on Jacksonville streets to stop.
Y'all get together and y'all pray. And put it down. Please put it down.
Gaynor's mother says she will not rest until the shooters are captured.
I'm going to rock this city until they get justice for my baby. Until everybody involved are arrested, I am going to shake Duval County.
A while after this, Queso ended up responding on social media, dissing Bibi and mocking his mum for calling for a march over his death.
They cremated that. Poor ass dead nigga. Hey, they got his mom walking around, March. We're gonna get him, March.
Queso also made numerous disrespectful posts about Bibi, including making like funny little animations that I would say are kind of early flashes of the kind of crazy disrespect that we would see later on in this beef when Who I Smoke dropped.
In the air with Bibi, I'm flying with Bibi, I'm flying.
But Queso wasn't the only one talking about the death of Bibi. In fact, the entire ATK side were taking disrespect to brave new levels. Whopper with the Chopper even went as far as to post a photograph of Bibi's dead body to his Instagram story along with the caption, "Spit on Dis." A picture which is obviously too shocking to show you on YouTube. And I'm not actually sure if Queso posted this picture himself. I mean, hell, he might have even taken it. But it just goes to show you how far these guys will go. Now, Julio was particularly close to Bibi. A year after Bibi's murder, he dropped the heartfelt tribute song Bibi Story, trying to give a more positive reflection on his fallen brother. The music video had tons of throwback footage of Bibi in it, but on the song, Julio also reveals some dark details about his relationship with Bibi, saying at one point that Bibi had caught a body by the time he was 16, which is the age that that he was killed, going on to suggest that Fulio was aware that the murder that Bibby had committed at this young age had been playing on his mind before he was killed. Fulio went on to say, "You was killing shit for me, that's why I want to kill myself." And going on to later rap, "You know I'm killing about your name because you killed for me. He say he smoking Bibby, now he resting in peace." From these lyrics, we can kind of see that Fulio blames himself for Bibby's killing, with it sounding like Bibby was specifically targeted due to his association with Fulio. Now, the song Bibby Story ended up doing numbers for Fulio, but that didn't stop Queso taking to social media singing along to the song to make fun of Bibby and Fulio.
Why you had to leave? Why you ain't stay with me? With me? Why you had to leave? Bibby! She was 16 with a body on his belt. Got his ass body, those 16-year-old. Oh my God.
Going on from this, we of course know that Bibby's name would end up being the first and most famous name that was disrespected in that song Who I Smoke. Thing is, Fulio wasn't lying when he said that there were people ready to kill over Bibby's name. Because only a few weeks after the Bibby hit, another attempt is made on Young and Ace's life, once again with deadly consequences.
Wait, hold on a second. Hold on. Let me 911.
Yes, ma'am. There were, I don't know, 10 shots at least.
Hi. I just heard a bunch of loud echoing pops. Sounded a lot like gunshots.
But it brought me out of a sound sleep. It was several rounds. Running through the halls, banging on everybody's door, running outside the building, around, banging on windows. They've come in the hotel, and I was looking out because I could hear them running. 5 of them ran past our door and they were screaming, we gotta go before the police get here.
Yes, on the 10th of March 2019, while in Waycross, Georgia for a show, Ace and his crew are staying at the Hampton Inn Hotel. And whilst chilling outside by the pool, they are ambushed by a KTA hit squad, who let off shots in an attempt to take Ace's life, which unfortunately ends up killing Ace's close friend Rallo, real name Jeremy Alexander Brookins.
The scene of Sunday's shooting, a group of men, including rapper Young and Ace, were near the pool when they were shot at, according to police.
Okay, this is the scene outside our hotel in Waycross. One vehicle down here, the red car. You can see where the back glass has been shot out.
The chief says the 2 victims were with Bullard. 30-year-old Jeremy Alexander Brookins died, and 29-year-old Dwayne Lamont Scott has injuries. Both are from Jacksonville.
It appears so. They were all in the same general area as he was, and they all scattered when the bullets started flying.
A group of men, including rapper Young and Ace, were near the pool when they were shot at, according to police. Jeremy Brookins killed. Waycross police arresting 3 Jacksonville men. Mark Isaac Jefferson, Leroy Gerard Whitaker, and Devontae DeMorris Starks.
Now, this is a truly tragic story when you consider the fact that it hadn't even been an entire year since Ace lost those 3 friends in that first assassination attempt. In fact, Ace has rapped in songs where he talks about that first shooting that killed 3 of his friends, saying that he'd struggled to confront the mothers of his fallen brothers to explain their deaths. Now, I can't begin to imagine the pain and hurt that Ace must be feeling going through this situation, so I certainly don't blame him for struggling to confront the families of those close to him who have lost their lives. However, that didn't stop Rallo's devastated mother taking to the news to say that Ace and the ATK crew hadn't even sent condolences to her.
Of all those boys that were there with my son when he was killed, not one of them has reached out to tell me how sorry they are. None of them has helped do anything, shown any remorse.
Now she's demanding justice in the case of her son. Justice, she worries, won't be coming soon.
Naturally, Fulio would later take to IG Live to say that he was smoking on Rallo.
Rallo! Oh, you rolling out the 100, Laura?
I rolled out the Rollo, man. I got Rollo on this
Nigga rolling out the Rollo.
And of course, in reference to this incident, Fulio would later end his iconic diss song When I See You with the terrifying lyric, Rollo died with his heat, for speaking on Bibby.
Okay, what we're doing is we're getting ready for the Fulio trial that's supposed to take place tomorrow. It was 5 people that was involved, but only 1 went to court, and they had to change the judge because she don't think so. She was treated fairly. But they did not give her first degree. They gave her manslaughter. With that, the manslaughter can go from 10 to 15 years, okay? But they want her to walk. They want Alicia to walk. Don't do, But anyway, right now I'm bringing everybody up to date on what we is looking for tomorrow and tomorrow's trial with the 4 co-conspiracy and the gunman. We were talking about, we will see tomorrow, giving us a better feel of what we're looking at tomorrow, besides of what we heard. I'm just bringing you up to date how that they got right here for Julio to get shot and what is going on right now. So right now, I'm going to bring you to a scene, did in fact with Julio when he got shot, how they was doing everything. We're going to see all that. This is a video for educative purpose, okay? Please don't. I'm gonna take out the movie. I'm gonna take out the music because I don't want to get no strike. And yeah, throw the red dot right there. Okay, yeah, I don't want to get no strike on this here because with his music that's in it. So anyway, I say to everybody, so this is where we at. Julio in Jacksonville, Florida, where he took it from Jacksonville, had the birthday party in Tampa, Florida. I'm here to tell you today, if they let that young lady out, she is walking dead. If they let her out let her and just send her on to prison, she is walking dead. Everybody know the Jacksonville gang and Julio. Let's get round up in here. Okay, let's go.
An apparent reference to the rumor that Rallo even had a gun on him at the time he was killed. However, the celebration from the KTA side of the beef would not last for long, and only a few months after the Rallo hit, KTA would suffer a devastating loss of their own.
There you go. Look.
On the 7th of May 2019, Julio's close friend and collaborator, 19-year-old Tiki, or T-Shots, is shot in a tan SUV at the 5900 block of Christabel Avenue, just north of the Hilltop Village apartments. Tiki's passing wasn't announced until nearly a month after the incident. However, if you wanted to know the news early, you would only have to go and have a look at Queso's social media, where he appeared holding an assault rifle and quoting one of Tiki's lyrics.
Big lock on me, ain't got no safety. Big lock on me, don't got no safety.
In the months following Tiki's slaying, countless disses against him made their way into ATK's music, dissing the fallen op and saying they're smoking him. Of course, Tiki was one of those names along with Bibby, who was famously disrespected on Who I Smoke. Thing is though, around this time, the ATK shooters were very active. And it wasn't just their enemies being targeted, it was the families of their enemies too. Also in May 2019, KTA shooters attempt to silence the sister of Zion Brown, with this going down on the 2-year anniversary of the Zion assassination. Remember at the start of this story when Zion Brown's shooter was identified as Trey Shorty by Brown's 16-year-old sister, who was also hit? Well, she had actually made a pretty brave post on Facebook calling out Trey Shorty as the shooter and saying that the police are refusing to help them. And well, in a hit apparently ordered from jail by Zion's killer himself. In an attempt to silence Zion's sister from speaking out publicly and testifying at trial, she was shot 14 times.
McFadden says in retaliation to her son's murder 2 years ago, her daughter was shot 14 times in May. She believes her daughter was targeted.
He was murdered by someone from their gang, and that person was sending messages from the jail threatening that if my daughter goes to trial, that he would get somebody to kill her.
Now, the young lady fortunately survived this assassination attempt, and ATKY Beezy, real name Caleb Sheffield, ends up getting arrested for this shooting. But in a shock twist, only 18 days after he's arrested, charges are dropped after he provides an airtight alibi and video footage proving that he was in Orlando at the time of the shooting.
17-year-old Caleb Sheffield is set free 18 days after he was booked into Duval County Jail on 4 counts of attempted murder. Sources tell News4Jax a video proves Sheffield was in Orlando at the time of the shooting.
If he's not the shooter, then that means the real one is still out there.
Now, just when you thought this beef couldn't get more dark, do you remember a young man by the name of Corbin who went missing about a year earlier? Well, in July 2019, Corbin is found under tragic circumstances. According to police, his skeletal remains were found in a wooded area in northwest Jacksonville.
Corbin Johnson's family reported him missing July 13th, 2018. The 18-year-old disappeared not long after a job interview. Now, 1 year later, his case is being investigated as a murder.
Corbin Johnson was last seen alive in July of last year. Then last Friday, a man discovered the victim's skeletal remains in a wooded area of northwest Jacksonville off Utsey Road.
Sky 4 flew over the scene as police investigated. You can see multiple yellow evidence markers and a dog sniffing around the wooded area.
Now, the loss of Corbin is why some ATK members rep S4C, or Spaz for Corbin, and Julio would later speak on what happened to Corbin in a pretty disrespectful tone, saying what happened to Corbin is his worst fear.
This is my worst fear, bro.
if you go on news for Jacksonville, the nigga Corbin real deal got kidnapped. Like, I know he got abducted. Do you know how much sense that make? Cause when you grown, you get abducted. You don't get kidnapped, like type shit. That man got abducted, real like. That's my worst fear. A nigga kidnapping me. I swear to God, bro. Like, I swear to God, on the news it said that man bones got found. Like, that man bones got found. Just bones. I swear to God. They said a nigga was mowing the line and ran over that man bones. I swear to God, I ain't making this shit up. No cap. You going news for that right now. Nigga was mowing the line and found that man bones. I swear to God, no cap. Boy, I be down for nigga kidnap me, but I'm finna kick, scream, holler, bite your ass, pinch your ass. I'm finna do whatever, man. Nigga ain't kidnapping me, bro. That nigga Corbin got kidnapped. Real boy, ain't none of my niggas getting kidnapped, bro. Real shit, bro.
Now, with that kind of energy floating around, then it's no surprise that there was some heavy disrespect incoming from the other side. And in September 2019, Queso would make the news. But this time, not for a grisly crime, but instead getting inducted into the self-snitching Hall of Fame by attempting to release a music project with this cover. Yes, Queso took to Instagram to announce the pending release of his new project titled Bibby Ow, that came along with a front cover that depicts Queso and ATKYBZ quite literally smoking the dead ops, with these people all being pictured and named as Dirk, Vontae, Zion Brown, Bibby, and Trey D, all close friends of Foolio's who have lost their lives. But really, it's Bibby who is the centerpiece, and let's not forget, people, Queso is literally sat in jail right now, charged with the murder of Bibby. I've got to say, this is probably the first time in rap history that the front cover of a project has been so disrespectful it has literally made the news. Because this cover caused an enormous uproar in the Jacksonville community, and I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if this front cover itself quite literally didn't play a significant role in the investigation against Queso for Bibby's murder.
A controversial rap album cover is making its way around social media. The cover shows pictures of men who have been murdered in Jacksonville. Local rapper Queso posted the picture to Instagram.
The caption on the post says, "Y'all DM ATKYBZ and tell him to drop dead and I'ma drop it tonight." This album cover, a local rapper named Queso posted on Instagram Monday, is frustrating for parents like Benetta McFadden. Her son Zion Brown is on the cover. She says he and some of the other men in the picture were murdered.
It hurts my heart, like, to see my son on there as a joke.
Brown's mother is outraged. She feels like the local rappers are glorifying these murders by putting the victims' faces on the album cover. It's unclear if the rappers are directly linked to these murders.
Now, in response to the uproar in the community over this cover, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office began to look much harder at Queso and the people around him. And eventually this extra attention would lead to some arrests, but not for quite some time. And so the violence in the street would continue, as did the disrespect for the ops on social media. And even with all the added attention of the authorities and literally being on the news from this album cover, Queso didn't think for a second to switch up and act smarter. No, in October, Queso would use the news clip about his incredibly incriminating front cover as an intro for the music video of his new song, Queso Bitch. Yet another masterclass in self-snitching, Queso rapped countless times that he was smoking Dirk and Bibby, as well as saying Bibby had a closed casket, I'm not surprised, and suggesting that he had shot at Y&R Mookie with a Draco. Now, Y&R Mookie actually clapped back on the song Gangsta Talk, dropping the lyric, pulled up on him at the red light, went to ripping in this shit, a line which had a lot of people suggesting that maybe he had something to do with that shooting that left 3 of Ace's friends deceased. Anywho, meanwhile in November 2019, at least Young and Ace is staying focused on the music, releasing dope projects like Step Harder, leaving the street business to Queso. However, with all of that extra attention Queso was attracting in the streets with his criminal activities, or on the news with his disrespectful music, and well, it wouldn't take long for karma to catch up with him and his family, provoking a serious response. On December the 11th, 2019, the ops knock on Queso's door. And when his mother calls out, "Who is it?" from the upstairs window, whoever was knocking gets to popping, firing shots at the property, with this supposedly leaked police report suggesting that around 27 shots were fired at the property before the suspects fled in a stolen SUV. With Queso's mom apparently telling cops that she believed Foolio or his associates were involved, and the cops later arresting numerous people associated with 6 Block. Foolio reacted to the news later on in an IG Live, saying that Queso got humbled by his mother being shot at.
His mama just got shot at and shit, so that's why he ain't been talking crazy no more. He ain't tell y'all about that. He ain't gonna post that. His mama just got shot at. So now your daddy got shot and your mom got shot at. And your brother died in front of him. Fuck him.
And well, clearly not one to allow any kind of disrespect on his name, within a month, Queso was back on the scene, retaliating. Initially with music, releasing the track Bang It Out on January the 5th, 2020, where he dissed 5 or 6 dead ops, including Bibby showing the Vancouver Grizzlies Bibby jersey that seems to have become iconic in this beef, as well as dissing Foolio's other fallen friends Kendre and Dirk from that album cover, and dissing several other KTA-affiliated rappers like Y&R Mookie, Slugger, and Cho, with Foolio clapping back and dissing Ace and Queso on his response song In the Air that dropped a few days later. On that, Foolio said that Queso's dad is a snitch, he dropped lyrics that refer to shootings at intersections, and saying that he's smoking 2 of the 3 people that passed away in that car with Ace. And well, less than a week after that, it would appear that Queso and the ATK guys were getting busy, because on January the 15th, 2020, just 1 day shy of the year anniversary of the killing of Boss Goon, Queso's brother, it's alleged that KTA member and close friend of Foolio, Charles McCormick, aka Lil Buck, was tailed by Queso and other people, including Dominique Barner. Remember, this is the guy that allegedly shot an innocent bystander off a bicycle during that shootout between 2 cars. So these ATK hitters allegedly follow Lil Buck from his home to a shopping center on Merrill Road. And when Lil Buck came out of a store around 11 a.m., it's alleged that Queso jumped out of the car and shot him dead using an assault rifle. However, in a shocking twist, this hit was witnessed directly by an off-duty police officer who jumped in a car and took chase following the culprit several blocks. And to make matters worse, the shooters, after fleeing authorities, escaped the scene but then crashed the getaway car. The 2 suspects were then caught on surveillance video jumping through people's yards, and at this point it's alleged that Queso and Barner broke into a woman's home, holding her hostage whilst they changed clothes and then made an escape, with this wild crime spree triggering a local manhunt.
Right now at 10, the hunt is on for 2 men who shot and killed another man in Arlington before leading police on a chase and breaking into a woman's home, holding her hostage.
At around 11 a.m. Wednesday, this shopping plaza off Merrill Road quickly became a major crime scene.
I heard 6 gunshots.
Those gunshots killed a man in his mid-20s who was standing outside the front door of this employment agency. Police say 2 men in a gray car pulled up and began shooting him. Some of the shots went through the window of the agency. A surveillance camera from another neighbor's house records the suspects running through backyards and hopping over a fence to avoid capture. Moments later, police say the men forced their way into this home and held the homeowner hostage while they changed their clothes. The men eventually left and were last seen getting into a red or orange car believed to either be a Dodge Challenger or Charger.
Now, here's something that a lot of people get fucked up about this story. Once Queso and Barner change clothes and leave that property, they're allegedly picked up by a vehicle that is being driven by Queso's father. And it's at this point that he becomes an accessory to murder. However, there's a few people that have falsely suggested that Queso's dad actually had something to do with the hit. That's not the case. But anywho, if Queso thought that he got away from this drilling scot-free, then he was wrong, because a handgun was found in that crashed getaway car, which the police say they found Queso's fingerprints on. But to make matters worse, following the actual killing, Queso took to social media and apparently posted a clip of Lil Buck rapping along with a waving hand emoji and the caption "bye bye," as well as another post of him supposedly showing himself getting a pedicure and an even more incriminating caption basically saying "kill a man, then get my toes done." Now, I looked for these social media posts pretty far and wide, but it seems like they've now been taken down pretty comprehensively. But in the weeks that followed Lil Buck's murder, there was a wave of shootings in Jacksonville.
Let me go back right here. Let me try to get us going right here. Okay. Let me go back here a little bit. Okay, we got that little bit there. Hold up a second. Let me go right over here. Let me go over here for a second.
I'm glad it. Come here, boy. Come here, boy.
Okay, here we go. Just another part.
Police are still looking for the person who shot and killed a rapper and hurt 3 others outside of a hotel there. 3 others were injured in that shooting, as we said, but 26-year-old Charles Jones, who's also known as Julio Foolio, was apparently there to celebrate his birthday. I think he was turning, 26 or 27. Police are still trying to figure out a motive for the shooting, but in some of his songs, he made...
Nephew. Alright, you wanna wear? That's fine.
Bitch nigga shot me but didn't kill me. On Kemper.
Bro, you see the shit on my stomach, boy? We really live like that. You better stop playing with me, boy. But shit. Oh, you got it. Ready?
In the early morning hours of June 23, 2024, the city of Tampa, Florida was rocked by a brutal homicide. One of America's largest new generation rap artists, Charles Jones II, aka Julio Fulio, had just been gunned down after turning 26. Fulio was a member of Jacksonville's underworld, a dark part of society that only bred bloodshed, loss, and tragedy year after year. He grew up in the city's rough neighborhoods, saw death before his teenage years, and had a gun in his hands before he turned 20. Fulio's death was significant due to his status in pop culture, but hailing from a city where death was a part of life for many, his murder was just another gang slaying, committed by armed gangsters who took any opportunity to stack their cash.
Nigga, I know niggas mad I ain't dead, ain't it? Niggas mad I ain't dead on gay. What you talking about, bitch ass niggas, yeah.
But go back 7 years and the entire picture unfolds. Fulio had been at war with another rapper, Young and Ace, who was a bitter rival gangster from another hood. Essentially, the neighborhoods they grew up in meant the two were destined to be enemies. Fulio's death was the bottle cap to years of tit-for-tat slayings, murders that took the lives of rappers, gangland killers, and even children. And in the months following Fulio's slaying, more murders were to come, including that of a 7-year-old child. It was a remorseless gang war that was punctuated in society by viral mainstream songs insulting the murdered relatives of rivals, music that was propped up and promoted by labels looking to profit off the bloodshed. What would have otherwise been an obscure gang conflict, one of hundreds within Florida alone, became a quote-unquote beef people followed like a sports roster just from how famous the combatants were.
That nigga ain't even no convicted felon, man. That nigga got registered guns, man. We illegal over this bitch. Hey, clown ass nigga. Hey,
but in a city where the homicide rate averaged out to almost 1 every 3 days in 2023, Fulio's death was just another murder in a multi-year gang war. A man who'd taken lives, made millions, and survived 3 shootings in the past 4 years to the extent he voodoo practicing demon died on the night of his birthday after sharing his location online.
And demon fucked my birthday, man. Everybody come back to fair.
This is Florida's worst gang war, ATK versus KTA. If you're interested in following all things crime, drill, beefs, and future updates for our 3 YouTube channels, make sure to follow the owner of TCOS on X at Standin' on Business. You can find the link to that page, as well as our other 2 channels, our email list, and our Buy Me a Coffee in the description below. The X page will be active very soon. All support is appreciated, and now, onto the video.
You got famous off people dying. Like, you got famous off a drill. Nigga hitting your ass up, boy. What the fuck? You thought the world forgot? You thought the world forgot? This nigga Ace thought the world forgot, man. You thought the world forgot you got famous because your brother got hit up. The whole world was sad. They was sad for your ass. Fuck you talking about, dumbass nigga? Talking about a nigga never played with you. Niggas never played with you. Boy, you was a bitch.
Charles Andrew Jones II was born on June 21, 1998 in Jacksonville, Florida. According to some accounts, he was born into the life. His father, Charles Andrew Jones Sr., was reportedly known in the streets as Rick the Ruler, a figure in the Hilltop Village apartments. It was one of the most notorious housing projects in Jacksonville, a place where violence and poverty were constants. Fulio's early childhood was marked by trauma. In 2009, when he was 11 years old, he reportedly witnessed his best friend's mother shot by her boyfriend. The violence shocked him, and even though she didn't die from the shooting, it made him understand death from early on. His family eventually relocated to Jacksonville's west side, trying to escape the chaos of Hilltop, but the violence followed them. On the night of May 11, 2011, Fulio's father was shot dead by Dwayne Neely, a registered sex offender Jones Sr. knew and gotten into a fight with. Fulio was 12 years old, just weeks away from turning 13. The loss of his father changed everything. Fulio got into daily fights at school, started carrying a gun, and by age 13, had hopped off the porch almost fully. He grew up in the Moncrief neighborhood, specifically around 45th Street, an area that would become known as 6 Block. He joined a gang named Kill Them All, or KTA. Fulio started rapping as a teenager, inspired by Jacksonville rapper Lil V, whose career had been cut short by a 10-year prison sentence.
I'm rolling on switches and clutching on pistols and sipping on gin. I could have been working in school, instead I stuck with the streets.
He collaborated with local artists like Soulja K on tracks like Dirty Sticks. His voice was young and he was still developing his style, but he rapped about the life he lived. In 2016, Foolio began releasing music more seriously. By 2018, he had dropped an album called Six Toven, paying homage to his block, produced by Zaytoven. On tracks like Crooks, he found his sound, and his fame came with that talent. There was money to be made in the music industry around that time with the rise of drill, and the fact that he was a legit killer on the streets, not just some music student or wannabe gangster, only boosted his career faster. As a teenager, Foolio reportedly gave up his dreams of playing football and fully committed to the streets and to music. Violence begat violence, and by the time Foolio turned 20, he said that 15 of his friends had been claimed by the streets.
In the field, waist deep, many young niggas hate me, plotting on me, trying to snake me, but I gotta keep my head up, but I gotta get my bread up. A lot of young niggas.
4 months before Foolio was born, on February 12, 1998, another boy entered the world in a different city nearly 1,000 miles away. Keonta Tyrone Bullard was born in East Chicago, Indiana, a small and violent city that was founded centuries ago but transformed into a poor, decaying town with very few opportunities like most industrial towns on the Great Lakes. When he was 4 years old, Bullard's family moved to Jacksonville, Florida, and his childhood was defined by instability and struggle. His father was incarcerated for much of his childhood, leaving his mother to raise 12 children mostly on her own. They moved constantly, in and out of shelters, in and out of different homes. There were times when the family had no money for food. Despite having 11 brothers, Bullard learned early that survival meant relying on himself. He called Jacksonville a jungle. At age 13, he was already caught up in street life, and at age 14, he lost his uncle, a man who had tried to be a father figure in his life. Bullard started writing songs to express the pain he couldn't voice any other way.
No way out, my only house was check that cherry. My whole life I had it hard, just my mom and my brother. Just for the pain, we constantly keep witnessing the struggle. Bills too hard to get cut off, ain't no lights in the house. Whatever happened in his home, better stay in this house. DC up knocking at the...
Ace would make a decision that would legally affect him for the rest of his life on December 4th, 2016. A then 19-year-old Keonta Bullard, DeAndre Thomas, and 2 others arrived at a home in Orange Park, Florida. They were there to rip off marijuana dealers under the guise of a buy. The sellers, Jonathan Tortorella and Savannah Mazzarella, knew they were being set up for a robbery, and a shootout happened. The bullets barely missed a couple and their 1-year-old child. In October 2017, Bullard pleaded no contest to accessory after the fact. He was sentenced to 31 months of probation in Clay County. The conviction made Bullard a convicted felon at age 19, and he would be arrested more than once in the next few years for gun possession charges. When he was incarcerated in 2017 on an accessory charge and placed on probation, he wrote constantly. He later said that while in jail, he received no letters from his family, so he wrote songs instead. In 2017, he released Go to War under the name Young and Ace. The song went viral locally, racking up 800,000 views in less than a month. In a short period, Ace's life transformed. In March 2018, Ace dropped his first SoundCloud track, No Witness. Weeks later, he followed it with All In, which was featured on World Star Hip Hop's YouTube channel. In the meantime, Ace had been affiliated with a gang called ATK, which has been said stands for All the Killers, but most people know it as Ace's Top Killers. And like Foolio, Ace wasn't just making music. He was living in the middle of a war he didn't fully understand yet, but went from a poor kid with a struggling family to a successful rapper and killer with record deals, and so he went all in. KTA was a street gang rooted in Jacksonville's north side, specifically the 45th Street area known as 6 Block in the Moncrief neighborhood. Julio Foolio was its most visible member, but it included a whole suite of other rappers who stood by him. KTA was allied with other sets, including Y&R, Young and Reckless, from Jacksonville's Arlington area, the Bully Gang, and gangsters from the Hilltop Village apartments. Together, they formed a network of young men who grew up in violence and responded with violence. By the mid-2010s, KTA had already lost dozens of members to the streets in conflicts with Headfirst Entertainment, a rival Jacksonville gang. ATK stood for Ace's Top Killers, although some have stated it as All the Killers, or used it as an abbreviation for the word attack. However, it likely got its name from Young and Ace, who became the gang's most prominent face. According to a U.S. Attorney's Office press release from December 2022, ATK was allied with several other Jacksonville gangs, including the No Hospital Gang, 1200 and Backstreet. These alliances created a powerful coalition. Included in Ace's close circle was a rapper named K-So, Hakeem Robinson, whose father was a longtime gangbanger and was named by the police as the head of ATK. Like KTA, ATK was made up of young men who had grown up in Jacksonville's most dangerous neighborhoods. They were brothers, cousins, friends, and like KTA, they were willing to kill for each other. The exact origins of both gangs are unclear. There have been stories passed down through lyrics, social media posts, and street legends, but what is clear is that by 2017, KTA and ATK were already rivals, and that rivalry was about to explode.
Loved ones hold hands and light candles as they remember the life of 18-year-old Malik Brown.
I want to thank everybody coming out and supporting my son. Just look around. It was love.
A vigil was held for the former Lee High School football star who is currently attending Warner University on a football scholarship.
I'm heartbroken. It's just like my heart been snatched out because he had a lot of potential.
Police say Brown was shot and killed Friday night during a robbery in the parking lot of an apartment complex on West 12th Street, just off of Kings Road. He was home for winter break. His grandfather, Maurice Brown Sr., couldn't bear the news.
You see this on the news all the time, and you never think it's going to impact your family. And it hurt when you see other people on television. But this is the worst feeling you can ever have.
Brown's family says they're hoping his unexpected death will be a wake-up call for the community.
Y'all watch who y'all around, you know what I'm saying? They need to stop all this, you know, it's breaking hearts. You know, you got people, families out here, you know what I'm saying? They ain't really much to say, you know, that's my brother. Like, nobody expecting Malik Brown to go out like that.
On the early morning of May 27th, 2017, at around 1:30 a.m., 5 people were asleep inside a home on the 6300 block of North Raw High Trail in Jacksonville's Cedar Hills neighborhood. Inside were 18-year-old Zion Malik Brown, his 16-year-old sister, Stantaria Brown, a 9-year-old girl, and 3 other children ranging in age from 6 to 17. The family woke to the sound of shattering glass. Someone had thrown a brick through the sliding glass door. 19-year-old Deontre Yaquez Thomas, known as ATK Trey, stood outside the home and opened fire. He shot into the house repeatedly, spraying bullets through the broken door, aiming at anyone he could see. Stantaria Brown would later tell reporters he kept shooting until he couldn't no more. Stantaria was hit twice, once in the leg. The 9-year-old girl was shot 5 times, and 1 bullet struck her neck. Zion Brown was hit multiple times and passed at the hospital after EMTs rushed him there. Police arrested Thomas the next day near Butler Boulevard and Belfort Road. The 16-year-old victim identified him immediately. As she and Thomas were Facebook friends, she knew he was dating an acquaintance of hers, a woman named Jontayana Pitts, who went by the name Ty Bougie.
A number of young people are seen throwing punches or swinging a bat. Jontayana Pitts was one of them. The 18-year-old Lee High School student was arrested on multiple charges. Since then, she's taken to Facebook.
My dad wasn't gonna let me sit in there. I came home for real. One day in that county. I did one day in that county. They got me.
The week before the shooting, Pitts had beaten up Stantaria Brown with a baseball bat. Video of that beating had gone viral on social media, and in the video, you could hear Stantaria screaming for her brother Zion to help her. Now Zion was dead, and Stantaria had identified his killer. Thomas wasn't some random shooter. He had history with Young and Ace. 7 months before killing Zion Brown, Thomas and Ace had been arrested together in Orange Park for the marijuana robbery. Thomas, despite being only 19, had actually been arrested 3 times in Clay County before Zion's murder. Thomas was charged with murder and 2 counts of attempted murder. In June 2019, 2 years after the killing, he was indicted for first-degree murder and witness tampering. Police said he'd tried to intimidate Stantaria Brown, the surviving victim who'd identified him. However, Zion Brown was also Julio Fulio's cousin. What might have been a personal beef had now become the spark for a war that would consume Jacksonville's streets for the next 7 years.
I do want to mention this is also close to UNF, and just a little while ago UNF put out on Facebook they want people to be aware that this happened because it is so close to campus, but they also want to reiterate the police are saying it does not appear to be connected. Just to give you a sense of what we're talking about, we're right.
And 6 Blocks retaliation took exactly 1 year and 1 week.
UNF flags. So we are close to the entrance here. We do a video from last night that we do want to keep showing our viewers. Police, they're working to learn much more about the shooter's car because that's one piece of crucial evidence that is important to this investigation. They are looking for surveillance video to help them with that. Now, in our video, you can see that white car. That's where the men were sitting when those shots were fired. There are bullet holes inside the car, plus we saw dozens of evidence markers.
On June 5th, 2018, Young and Ace and 3 others left Wasabi Japanese Steakhouse at the St. John's Town Center after celebrating a birthday. They were driving on Town Center Parkway near Interstate 295 when another vehicle pulled alongside them around 11 p.m. Gunmen opened fire, unleashing a barrage that turned the car into scrap metal. 3 people died: Ace's brother, 18-year-old Trayvon Bullard, 18-year-old Royale Devon Smith Jr., and 19-year-old Jacoby Deshad Groover. Ace himself was shot 8 times but survived. He spent weeks in the hospital, bullets still lodged in his hand, legs, and arm. Doctors said later he still had several in his body. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office determined the victims had been targeted and that this was retaliation for Zion Brown's death. 3 dead for 1.
Get down.
I'm trying to hold RJ. I'm trying to RJ open the door. I open the door, I'm pushing him out. I'm like, I got you, bro. I got you. He like, grab my shirt. I'm like, bro, I can't move. He tell me he can't move. I jump out the car. Go open the door. Coast.
Ace posted from his hospital bed, talking about being shot 8 times and about God sparing his life. The post went viral, but his survival came with a cost. In 2021, Fulio would go on to make a song mocking the shooting and posted some behind-the-scenes clips on Instagram.
Always out of time.
Ready?
Yep. I see you.
I see you. Fuck, niggas.
Went out to eat on his birthday. 4 shot, 3 dead in the worst way. He kept dissing on me. Now he's smoking 23. You always on my mind. Always on my mind. When I ride through the
tell you, these niggas know what the fuck going on. Pulling up for these dead ass niggas. Big 23, tell you.
Hey, get there right here, folks.
Moving life, man. What's up the guys, man? You know what the fuck going on.
What's up the guys, man? We miss you boys, man.
We miss y'all, man.
The war was no longer about territory or money or respect in some abstract sense. It was about revenge. Each side kept a tally of the dead, referenced them in songs, and posted their faces on like a sort of street currency. They were writing entire songs just to mock the victims from the rival side. And it's not like flexing your victims is a new concept for the streets. The only difference is what once was done through tag banging and word of mouth was now being done on Instagram live shows for millions to watch.
If you get shot, right, in your booty 6 times, 3 of your brothers died in your arms, don't that mean a nigga play with you?
Jacksonville Sheriff TK Waters would later call this the defining characteristic of the gang war. It wasn't fought in private. It was broadcast, performed, and monetized. They wanted everyone to know what they'd done.
Stupid ass nigga talking about, is I'm fighting, do I know how to fight? No, I don't know how to fight, nigga. You ain't gonna die.
Following the shooting, Ace was arrested for violating his 2017 robbery parole, which he'd been on since his release, after a video of him using a gun earlier that day surfaced. He got house arrest for the charge. 1 month after the town center shooting, 18-year-old Corbin Odell Johnson spent July 11, 2018, attending job interviews. He interviewed with Amazon in the afternoon, then his father drove him to a second interview with UPS. Around 8 p.m., his father dropped him off at his mother's house. His mother saw him for the last time at 9:30 p.m. that night at a gas station. His family reported him missing on July 13th, but Corbin wasn't the type to disappear. He was trying to get a job and build his life. His friends and family said nothing seemed wrong when they spoke to him that day, but Corbin had connections to ATK. Police believe that's what got him killed.
Never mind that the day was rainy and skies were gray. Dozens of people showed up to the Valero gas station on Harts Road holding papers, flyers of Corbin Johnson.
Just want to get the word out.
Get the word out because the 18-year-old has gone missing.
This is not like him.
This is Corbin's dad, Corey Mormon. He says all these people have gathered at this gas station because it was the last place his son was seen.
Corbin left a house over here with his buddies off of Harts Road. Came up into this store right here and was last seen getting in and out of a black car.
Like most young adults, Mormon says his son's mom has one rule when it comes to the cell phone.
The only thing that she asks him to do is just contact and let me know that you're okay. If you don't come home at night, okay.
but just let me know that you're okay.
It's been a week, and neither of them have gotten that text.
At this point,
However, exactly 1 year later, on July 11, 2019, a man clearing land in a wooded area off Utsey Drive in northwest Jacksonville unearthed human remains wrapped in a bag. The remains were identified as none other than Corbin Odell Johnson, 12 miles from where he'd last been seen. Police determined his death was a homicide based on how the body was positioned. To this day, no one has been charged with Corbin Johnson's murder, but Foolio mocked Corbin's death in his 2020 track Beatbox Remix Bibby Flow. In it, Foolio rapped about Corbin.
Corbin got kidnapped, they found his bones, he was right.
The line became quickly famous due to short-form content. In 2021 and 2022, it spawned a viral TikTok trend called Where's Corbin, where people made videos using Foolio's song as the background audio.
Some people asked Foolio about Johnson during his Instagram Live last week.
Somebody say, where's Corbin? I don't know what Corbin at. But yeah, that's all I had to say.
ATK had other major members besides Young and Ace. Willie Addison, a 25-year-old rapper who performed under the name Boss Goon, had just been released from prison in June 2018 after serving 6 years for burglary and perjury.
And that's what happened today. It's a bitter, good feeling today. It's a real good feeling. It's hard to explain, but it's a good feeling. He just got to keep his word to me now from what, you know, what he gonna get out here and do and try to progress with what I got going on already.
Bet you lying. 10 years on 10, man. 10 toes down, man. No buck and call out, no gay shit, no policing. You know what I'm saying? Just all the way solid, man. HOP, we coming. You know what I'm saying? I got the gang with, fam with. They been here with me the whole time.
Addison was the stepbrother of Hakeem Robinson, a 21-year-old rapper who went by the name K-So. Both were part of ATK, while Addison's father, Abdul Robinson Sr., was considered the leader of the entire ATK organization, a drug trafficking operation that Jacksonville police would later link to over a dozen murders. On the night of January 15, 2019, Willie Addison performed at Paradise Gentlemen's Club on Bay Meadows Road. After the show, around 2 a.m. on the morning of January 16th, Addison left with his father, Abdul Robinson Sr., his brother, Abdul Robinson Jr., and 3 other family members, all packed into a Chevy Tahoe. They were driving on Emerson Street near Spring Park Road when another vehicle pulled alongside them and riddled the SUV with bullets. Willie Addison died from his wounds. Abdul Robinson Sr. was shot in the back, but survived. Police found a wild 68 shell casings at the scene. Bullets had hit the nearby houses as well, putting innocents in danger. To this day, no one has been charged with Willie Addison's murder. His family knew who did it, and likely so did the police, but the evidence just wasn't there. Either way, Willie Addison died. An ATK Abdul Robinson Sr. paid 26-year-old gangster Dominique Barner, aka Butta, to kill a rival from KTA. On a nice January 31st, 2019 afternoon, around 1:30 p.m., 50-year-old Damon Rothermel was riding his bicycle on Emerson Street near St. Augustine Road in San Marco. Rothermel had just celebrated his 50th birthday and was running an errand for his mother, returning from Walmart. He was riding through a busy intersection when 2 cars began shooting at each other. Barner was in one of them, trying to kill the driver of the other one. A stray bullet then struck Rothermel, and he died at the scene. Rothermel wasn't involved in gangs. He didn't know about the war between the 2 groups. He was just riding his bike at the wrong place, at the wrong time. Police arrested Barner in August 2020 and charged him with second-degree murder. They also arrested Christopher Brown, Derek Hudson, and Janera Smith, who were connected to the shooting. Abdul Robinson Sr. was charged as an accessory after the fact for paying and ordering the hit that killed an innocent man. Less than 2 months after Willie Addison's death, KTA took the war out of state.
Ware County 911. Yes, ma'am. There were, I don't know, 10 shots at least.
Hi. I just heard a bunch of loud echoing pops. Sounded a lot like gunshots.
But it brought me out of a sound sleep. It was several rounds.
On the night of March 9, 2019, Young and Ace performed at a concert in Waycross, Georgia, about 80 miles north of Jacksonville. After the show, Ace and his entourage returned to the Hampton Inn at 1720 Brunswick Highway. 30-year-old Jeremy Alexander Brookins, who went by the name Rollo, was part of Ace's entourage. Brookins wanted to work in the music industry, particularly in rap, and was a member of ATK. Also with them was 29-year-old Dwayne Lamont Scott and Queso Robinson. KTA gunmen had followed them from Jacksonville. Around 3:30 a.m., witnesses reported seeing people being chased through the hotel parking lot by armed men. A guest staying at a nearby hotel woke to the sound of gunfire. Police quickly responded to reports of an ambush. They found Jeremy Brookins near the pool area with gunshot wounds to his body, and he was pronounced dead shortly after. Inside a hotel room, police found Dwayne Scott with multiple gunshot wounds, but he survived. Young and Ace and Queso were unharmed. Ace's attorney, David Haas, told reporters that his clients were ambushed, chased through the parking lot by gunmen, who later turned out to be 3 Jacksonville men arrested at the scene, and as expected, members of KTA. Mark Isaac Jefferson, Leroy Gerard Whitaker, and Devontae DeMorris Starks, but none were charged with Brookins' murder, just speculated as being the gunman. The case remains unsolved to this day. This was the second time in 9 months that Young and Ace had survived an ambush. He'd been shot 8 times in June 2018, watched his brother and 2 friends die, and now, less than a year later, he'd watched another friend die in a parking lot 80 miles from home. Robinson decided to answer for his stepbrother's death on January 15, 2020, a revenge hit that would turn out to be the most fateful day of his career as a rapper and gangster.
Y'all, this is all pertaining to what we're going to be seeing Julio Fulio trial as it starts tomorrow. Now, let me tell you something. Hey, Ronnie. Man, we got, just us. Ronnie, we're going to be doing, tonight, we're going to be stretching on like our exercise. And then we're going to go ahead and do some stops. I got some step dance that we can do. Okay. So Julio Fulio, as y'all know, Julio Fulio started dealing back with the dead people. Okay, he started marking the dead people. So anyway, why are you talking with the video? Oh, I know, the video on pause now. No, the video is on pause now. So just letting you know that what we're gonna be doing now, and we moving up closer to getting y'all closer and closer to Julio Fulio. Cause that's trial start tomorrow. Okay, Ronnie. Everything that's on here is alleged. Okay. Thank you.
Charles Javon McCormick Jr., 23 years old, was an aspiring rapper who went by the name Lil Buck. He wasn't a well-known rapper. His music hadn't been widely released, but McCormick was also a gangster in 6 Block. He had made one critical mistake, a diss track he'd recorded called Young Show Off that mocked the death of Willie Addison, Queso's stepbrother, who'd been killed exactly 1 year earlier.
My boy say he got chain. I got Cuban links, you feel me? I got that tennis. Oh, you got the Cuban link? Yeah. Cuban link bracelet. I believe this your store, ain't it? This my fucking store, bro. It's my daddy's store, though. You feel me? I'm like, it's my store.
McCormick wasn't involved in Willie Addison's murder. He hadn't been in the car. He hadn't pulled any trigger. But he had mocked and disrespected him hard. And in Jacksonville's gang war, that was enough. Queso and his father wanted him dead.
Look at the scene right here. This is in front of a Baptist primary care location on Merrill Road in Arlington. Sources are telling us that the victim was shot in the...
Wait a minute. What you mean by unpause if you want to watch the video? I'm doing it as I don't know how to do that. I'm doing that basically on the education purpose, getting ready for the trial tomorrow, bringing everybody up to date of what is supposed to be happening tomorrow and why they are there. That's what I'm doing. If it's any kind of other way, you want unpause and if you want to watch the video. Okay, here we go. This Julio Fulio, as y'all seen from the other video that we showed, Julio, the one started with the pouring the liquor on the grave and picking at the boy, one brother, when they went out to dinner with Ace got 9 shots in him, and Julio picked at it because Ace's brother died and the 2 more other friends died. So Julio started that there. Okay, come on now, we're gonna work. Getting us up to date.
the head and killed in this parking lot. 2 suspects are on the run, and a manhunt is currently underway.
In December 2019, Queso, his cousin Leroy ATK Scotty Whitaker, and Dominique Butta Barner began planning McCormick's murder. Barner later testified that they wanted to kill McCormick in December, but he was out of town, so they waited. Barner found McCormick's address by looking it up on the Duval County Clerk of Court's website. The trio drove by his apartment at Hilltop Village on West 45th Street, scoping it out. On January 15th, 2020, they made their move. Queso, Whitaker, and Barner stole a silver Nissan Altima. They drove to McCormick's apartment complex and waited until he left. McCormick had a job assignment that day. Around 3:30 p.m., he left his apartment and drove to Dames Point Plaza, a shopping center on Merrill Road in Arlington. He went inside a staffing agency to pick up his work assignment for the day. The three were following him in the stolen Altima. What they didn't know, as they sat outside the agency, however, was that an off-duty Jacksonville Sheriff's Office officer happened to be in the parking lot in an unmarked car, working a security detail. His dash cam was recording. At 3:45 p.m., McCormick walked out of the staffing agency. Queso jumped out of the Nissan Altima carrying an AR-style pistol. McCormick saw him and ran. Queso chased him across the parking lot in broad daylight, fired repeatedly, and murdered McCormick in broad view of the dash cam. Multiple witnesses saw it happen. The off-duty officer who'd been parked nearby immediately gave chase. Barner, the driver, fled. He crashed the Nissan during the police pursuit in a nearby neighborhood. The hit squad then abandoned the Nissan and split up. Police found firearms in the abandoned Altima, including an AR-style rifle. They found Queso's fingerprints on a handgun, but they never found the murder weapon. Queso had run off with it.
JSO says the suspect then drove off in a stolen gray vehicle, and that's when a police pursuit began. Less than 2 miles away on Townsend Boulevard, police say the suspects then dumped the car. Neighbors telling me just before noon they heard the car smashing into the sidewalk, running over a tree, saw 2 suspects getting out, one darting behind this house, another darting behind that one. What was going through your mind when you saw these 2 suspects get out of the car?
So I saw the one running towards in my yard towards my fence, and I said, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go secure the glass door because a lot of times we leave it open. So I ran to the glass door, and in the process I saw him cross through my yard over another neighbor's fence and continuing to run.
One neighbor watching it all unfold, others sharing this video with me, hoping the suspects will soon be caught. You can see them running and jumping over a fence near a playground.
About 8 minutes after the crash, a woman in the neighborhood heard someone banging on her door. She opened it to Barner and Whitaker, who forced their way inside. Barner choked her, and the two held her hostage for over an hour, changing out of their bloody clothes and into clothing belonging to the woman's husband. Eventually, they fled in a red or orange Dodge vehicle. DNA analysis quickly linked both Barner and Whitaker to the home invasion. But they didn't know Queso was directly involved yet, but they would very soon. He would implicate himself soon afterwards.
And I'm outside. Hey, I'm in North Carolina. Go. So what? Queso make your face go. Hey, that nigga say they outside. Eat that bit outside. Eat that bit one time. Huh? Do that one.
Hours after the murder, Queso began posting to Instagram. The next day, he posted an Insta story. He was sitting in a nail salon getting a pedicure. The caption read,
"Kill a nigga, then go get my toes done. Kill a nigga, then go get my toes done." Those are his words.
I was laughing super hard and Darnell was dying. The name of the album is I Killed Darnell Simmons. It's a concept album. That's a picture of you. A picture of you. And behind you is Darnell Simmons' body.
The arrogance was staggering, and it would be the exact fuel prosecutors would use later to charge him in not just McCormick's murder, but the murder of Fulio's younger brother, 16-year-old Adrian Dennard Gaynor Jr., aka Bibby.
Gunfire erupts inside a Northwest Side apartment complex. It leaves this 16-year-old dead. Neighbors say that the shooting sounded like a war zone.
60 to 70 rounds had to be dropped in the course of maybe 15 seconds.
Sky 4 captured the large crime scene outside the Hilltop Village apartment complex off 45th Street just before 3 this afternoon. For several hours, the backside of the apartment complex was taped off as investigators collected shell casings and other evidence.
And while police have not released the victim's name, sources tell us it's Adrian Gaynor Jr. Tonight, News4 Jax reporter Eric Avanier was there earlier and has the latest.
Family members have identified the 16-year-old boy who was shot and killed inside the parking lot of Hilltop apartment complex as Adrian Gaynor Jr. They say he was employed at a local McDonald's, attended school regularly, and was beginning to get on the right track. The person or people responsible for his death has not been captured, which is why we are not identifying neighbors who say they heard what sounded like a plethora of weapons being fired.
It sounded like it was Iraq out here, like multiple guns, like from different guns.
Sounded just like probably an AK-47 or something that would, shoot repeatedly without stopping.
The shooting happened while kids were returning home from school. Unfortunately,
On February 25th, 2020, at around 3 p.m., Bibby was sitting in a car at the Hilltop Village Apartments parking lot on West 45th Street. Allegedly, Hakeem Robinson and 2 accomplices drove into the parking lot, opened fire on the vehicle, and murdered the 16-year-old. Gaynor was an innocent victim of the gang war, not being aligned with any side aside from being Fulio's own family. The murder was simply to get at his older brother.
I'm glad come here, boy! Come here, boy!
A disrespect campaign soon followed, arguably the worst one of the gang conflict. Posts were made mocking Bibby, Queso wore jerseys with Bibby's name on them, and Bibby was mocked in a Young and Ace song titled Who I Smoke. In the song, he's named among a list of other dead ops. Bibby's face was plastered.
Okay, let me give y'all a rundown on this part here. If you're watching me with the first interview, when we started out, where that we seen Ace. Ace was at the golf court right there, and they was calling themselves a shooting golf. But when they were shooting golf, they had bullets that they would like how they put the things in the ground. So anyway, they did that video. But Ace Ben did that. Now don't forget now, Fulio, he was picking by all the other deads. Now right there, what you see right there in the background, that's dealing right with, that's Ace and the 4, the 4 of them that went out to dinner, and all of them got killed, including one of Ace's brother. Now what you're gonna hear now, did in fact on Fulio's side, somebody, his brother don't got killed. Okay, so now he makes a video. The part of this video was a part, it was like at the beginning, this is the back part of the video. Okay, so to bring everybody up, they pouring liquor on the grave, going to the grave, and all such thing. That's what Fulio did with his people. Okay, let's go. Let me get him in here.
On an album cover and posted on Queso's Instagram as well.
Monday is frustrating for parents like Bonetta McFadden. Her son Zion Brown is on the cover. She says he and some of the other men in the picture were murdered.
It hurts my heart, like, to see my son on there as a joke. Like, you tormenting victims of these kids. Like, I'm a victim, and every other kid on there, their parents are victims as well.
The caption on the post says, y'all DM ATKYBZ and tell him to drop dead, and I'ma drop it tonight. McFadden's
Queso was arrested less than a year after McCormick's murder. 5 years later, he finally went to trial. His cousin Leroy Whitaker stood trial alongside him.
All right. If you can do me a favor and just sign this, all it's saying is that you understand your rights as I've read them on paper. That's all it's saying.
Oh, God, sign it.
You don't have to if you don't want to. Okay, you want to sign it? All right, that's fine. So this is your best time to tell me your side of the story about January and what happened, and I'm just trying to give you the opportunity. You don't know, or? You ever been in a gray Nissan before?
No.
Never been in a gray Nissan? Like a small, like, silver-looking sedan? Do you remember that phone number you had back in January? Alright. I'll put it to you this way. You keep going down this road while I'm just trying to give you your time to explain your side. You're gonna end up doing some time for somebody else when.
Wait, let me just move it on.
I need my lawyer. Alright, you want a lawyer? That's fine. Before I walk out of the room, I do have to tell you, you're being arrested for murder. We talked to Blue and Queso yesterday, and they're next door, so. Give me a couple minutes, I gotta do the paperwork.
For 7 days, they listened to testimony. Of course, overwhelming evidence from the slaying was presented to the jury, including the dashcam footage, home break-in scene, and DNA evidence pulled from the crashed car. One of the stranger sets of evidence used in the courtroom was Queso's Instagram posts and stories, which mocked McCormick's death, as well as lyrics from a Young and Ace song titled Queso Homicide.
You stepped on, bitch, stand over in that Zach bag, you stepped in, bitch, high smart Kim, get your hit, man, he ever said speaking on my brother, get you stepped on, bitch.
But the prosecution's most powerful weapon walked into the courtroom in shackles. Dominique Buta Barner took the stand for the state. He was 31 years old and had been offered a plea deal. 20 years for 2 murders, one he'd driven for and one he'd shot himself. In exchange for testifying against Queso and Whitaker, he'd serve just 20 years and walk out of prison in his 50s. Barner identified Queso as the shooter. He described the entire hit in full detail and stated that Queso wanted McCormick dead because of the diss song. Obviously, the defense tore into him during cross-examination. He'd lied to police before. He was a confessed double murderer, getting 20 years because he was willing to snitch. But Barner's testimony was just the warm-up. Going back to 2023, Abdul Robinson Sr. began his second interrogation with Jacksonville police, and in this one, he directly implicated his son in murder.
Did both Leroy Whitaker and Dominique Barner talk to you about the car that crashed?
Yes.
And what did you mention just a moment ago that they said Hakeem Robinson got out of the car?
Yes, sir.
Tell me specifically what, did Dominique Barner say that to you as well?
Both of them said it.
Okay. What do you specifically remember them saying?
That they crashed the car, the police chasing them, and Kim jumped out the car, they went one way, he went another way.
Did they say whether or not Hakeem Robinson, Keamy, had anything with him when he jumped out of the car?
Yeah, they say he had a gun with him.
Did Leroy Whitaker and Dominique Barner mention to you that had been left behind in the car?
They left a gun caught behind.
And did Leroy Barner tell you transpired or was going to transpire
before the
yeah. Did Dominique Barner and Leroy what something to do as they fled from the police?
Oh, you at the police?
And who was going to specifically be the one shooting?
Kim.
On Monday afternoon, July 28, 2025, Abdul Robinson Sr. took the stand. He was the man who'd run ATK, orchestrated murders, trafficked drugs across Jacksonville for years, and most importantly, Queso's father, who dragged him into the street life by virtue of his birth.
You've had an opportunity during the pendency of your case and the discovery to see that recording.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. Did you, when you viewed that recording, recognize the person depicted in it?
Yes.
Who is the person that was captured on the video recording shooting Charles McCormick?
My son.
His son.
What's your son's name?
Hakeem.
Now, sitting here today, you realize that you are testifying against not only co-defendants, but family members.
Yes.
Why are you doing that?
I have a number of reasons. I got some health issues. I got 2 6-year-olds and an 8-year-old daughter. And, you know, when she asks me over each year when I'm gonna come take her there, and I keep letting her down. Then my 6-year-old son, when he asked me if I'm gonna come to his football games, you know, things like that.
But you
My
got
health
your other
issues.
son. You got different baby mama, ladies
Becoming a
and
witness
gentlemen.
in this case negatively impacted your relationship with your entire family.
Well, I really don't have no more relationship with my family, besides one person.
So if part of your family completely cut you out?
Yeah.
On Thursday morning, July 31st, 2025, Leroy Whitaker's jury reached a verdict after less than 2 hours of deliberation. Guilty of first-degree murder. Queso's jury, 7 white women and 5 white men, deliberated for 3.5 hours. Then they filed back into the courtroom. Guilty of first-degree murder. The stress was visible. On October 1st, 2025, Hakeem Robinson and Leroy Whitaker stood before Judge Salvador for sentencing. Both were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In Florida, first-degree murder carries a mandatory life sentence. Hakeem Robinson sits in prison, serving life without parole. He still faces another murder trial for the killing of Bibi. His father, Abdul Robinson Sr., testified against him and was sentenced to time served in November 2025.
Y'all, let me get this. Y'all, let me give y'all a story here. Did you see that? Now he got several babies' mamas. He teaches, and you teach your son how to hold a gun and be in the game, and he was the head of the game. All of a sudden, this year goes down. He was there when it happened. The dad, he was there when it happened, but since that they made a deal with him, he'll go ahead and just say that, okay, yeah, his son did it, and let his son get life. But the other kids that he got out here from different mamas, he's saying that he want to go to the football game and see his daughter, how they grew up. But this one here was the one that was one of yours that grew up too. But you taught him in the street. Now you is okay as a man to see your child get life. Wow. Told the people to get in life that you would snitch on them. We get no more to Julio Fulio. Remember now, we got on Julio Fulio side. Remember now, his brother got killed. Over there on Ace side, remember, 4 of them got killed. His brother and 2 more other guys. Only body was alive was Ace. All this here dealing with shot call, but Julio Fulio was the one that was laughing about and made videos, and video really did hitting it into the family. They picked that Julio Fulio because he had a gun, and the gun was already registered. They have guns that wasn't registered. Okay, you guys, come on. Come on, yeah. Just bring y'all up to date.
But, obviously before Queso's downfall, the hits went back and forth. ATK wanted Fulio dead. On July 26, 2020, Fulio was in Houston, Texas. He was outside a recording studio, with his location made public on social media, when gunmen opened fire. His head was grazed by the bullets, but he survived, was hospitalized, and released not too long after.
Bitch ass nigga shot me but didn't kill me. On Kendrick. You fucking stupid.
Fulio posted a video from the scene afterward, showing bullet holes in his car and shell casings on the ground.
Nigga, I know niggas mad I ain't dead, ain't it? Niggas mad I ain't dead on gay. We can talk about bitch ass niggas, yeah.
ATK members posted references to the shooting, celebrating that they'd come close. It was also referenced in Who I Smoke.
I was lurking on his page and I caught him lacking, and here we let out shots, he got shot and went live. I went thinking like, fuck man, that bitch ain't died.
It's probably a good time to pause and talk about how music and popular culture plays into all this. Rap beefs are not a new concept in any way, neither are gang beefs. The fundamental difference between the Fulio versus Ace situation, when compared to a celebrity beef like Drake versus Jay-Z, is that the latter are regular celebrities, beefing over their own reasons. Fulio and Ace were gangsters, through and through, who'd grown up on the streets and saw death at an early age. Their beef was rooted in the murder of each other's family members and the subsequent responses of disrespect. This wasn't just a fight or legal battle. These were men who seemed to truthfully hate each other. Had they not had the famous status they had as rappers, this would have just been another obscure gang conflict of hundreds within Florida alone.
Here's the picture. Let me show it to you. Oh, hell nah.
What?
What is wrong with you, bro?
What happened?
That's some gay shit, bro.
It is?
Let me see.
How?
Let me see. You look, I can't delete that shit out your phone. What's up? Somebody knocking.
Oh, I'll get the door.
But these were two very famous men who were entwined into the popular culture like any other celebrity in such a way that something bizarre happened. Their brutal gang war, rooted in decades of murder, became an online beef people watched, followed, and recorded like an event.
You on my dick, boy. You what? And you gon' that fuck nigga? All right. What? That shit. What? You better ask that nigga, boy. This shit hot. Boy, you better ask that nigga, boy. Boy, this shit hot. Boy, you better stop playing on me, boy. I better ask that nigga, boy. This shit get hot. Boy, you niggas better stop playing on me, boy. Bro, you see the shit in my stomach, boy? We really live like that. You better stop playing on me, boy. But this shit real life. You niggas better stop playing on me, boy. I slap shot on you niggas, boy. And if for you pussy ass niggas, man, you niggas scary as fuck.
Tallies were kept, and millions of people around the world who had zero connection to either gang were suddenly rooting for a side. On April 9th, 2021, 4 ATK rappers, Spinabins, Wapa Witta Chapa, Fast Money Goon, and Ace himself released Who I Smoke, a diss track that would make Jacksonville's gang war go national. The song sampled 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton, turning a gentle piano melody into a taunting roll call of murdered 6 Block members. The song listed 8 dead ops by name, described how they died, and mocked them. As of today, it's one of the best performing songs to come out of the conflict. Foolio responded with his own diss track, When I See You, a remix of Fantasia's R&B song of the same name. The song was gentler in tone, but no less disrespectful. Foolio sang about the 2018 Town Center shooting, mocking the death of Ace's brother and friends. Foolio filmed the music video at a cemetery, holding up a poster with photos of Trayvon, Royale, and Jacoby. At the end of the video, he poured a bottle of Ruffino Prosecco champagne over the poster. Again, as I stated before, these songs' virality turned what should have been considered a brutal tragedy into online content that millions consumed. It's not that Foolio only sang diss tracks. Both him and Ace had plenty of great viral songs that were just their own songs. However, a beef this brutal, with the modern culture of TikTok and the decade-long popularity of Chicago drill, made these songs defining moments in their careers.
Right? Yeah, I'm keeping it all the way real tonight, gang.
Hey, didn't I put that photo out on your shirt and go in your pockets in the club and we ain't let y'all perform? All right. You already know me.
You say you ain't let me perform what?
I'm talking about the post. Let's start at the beginning. Didn't I put the post out on your shirt on 45th block party? Didn't I go in your pockets and buy it when you came to the door? You know what I'm saying? Because you a bitch. Everybody know you a bitch. You a bitch. You a bitch. You ain't nothing but a bitch.
If any nigga did anything to me, you would have died.
I thought we were keeping it real. Well, when we was on 45th, I slapped your drink out your hand. I was treating you like a real bitch out there. Because you a bitch.
And didn't Tico put your ass under the bunk?
No, boy, I crashed Tico ass. Fuck you talking about? Bro, I crashed Tico twice. He beat me the last time on bees, on everything I love.
Don't do that, bro.
Shit, nigga.
On October 12th, 2021, Foolio released List of Dead Ops, a track that would define the depths of disrespect in Jacksonville's gang war. The song wasn't subtle, it wasn't coded, it was 3 minutes and 39 seconds of Foolio literally naming a ton of dead ATK members and mocking the circumstances of their deaths. The song opened with Foolio shouting out the 6 and declaring himself the biggest problem in Jacksonville. Then he proceeded to list names one by one, detailing how each person died. He listed almost 40 names and sarcastically called Ace blessed for surviving the 2018 triple homicide.
Can't we get 23? Kwame and 4 in the back seat. Hey, Ace only one survive. Shit, that nigga blessed if you ask me.
In 2022, Foolio released List of Dead Ops Part 2, doubling down on the concept and just naming more ops. List of Dead Ops became one of Foolio's most popular tracks, and it established a template that other Jacksonville rappers would follow. There was heavy cash in mocking your dead enemies, and it made ATK angrier.
Bullets striking car windows, inside and outside of homes, and found inside this home. Just some of the aftermath of a violent shootout in Riverside on Monday. A neighbor who wants to remain anonymous says she woke up to shots blaring down her street.
What was going through your mind when all that was happening?
I was terrified. I thought I could have died. I thought my kids could have died.
Just after midnight on November 8, 2021, Fulio was at a house on Ernest Street in Jacksonville's Riverside neighborhood, recording music at a makeshift studio. It was a regular recording session. Nothing seemed unusual. Then Fulio stepped outside to his SUV and heard gunshots. A dark-colored car pulled up with shooters inside. Fulio told police he grabbed 2 registered handguns and returned fire, and a shootout erupted in the middle of a residential neighborhood. 20 shell casings were scattered across the street, possibly from an AR-15. Bullet holes riddled car windows and homes. Fulio was grazed by a bullet on his ankle, but didn't need hospitalization. He went on live and mocked his ops for firing 100 times at him and missing every single shot.
Shot back in self-defense. Y'all dumb. I shot back in self-defense. You don't think if I did something illegal, I would be in jail? The police put me in the back of the car and type. They did miss a whole 100 shots though. I know they sick right now, whoever did it.
Then later reacted to surveillance video of the shooting. No arrests were ever made.
Boy, hey, stop playing, boy. Nigga was just running for their life, man. You was a bitch. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm just saying. Niggas be running for their life but get on this bitch talking crazy. Boy, you the police for real, boy. Stop playing, boy. Talking about nigga. If that's the point, boy, your daddy used to stay calling a nigga, boy, on road. Your daddy used to stay calling nigga, oh, don't do this to my son, my son, my son, my son. Police ass nigga, we made you, man.
Queso and Ace responded by mocking Fulio for flexing that his guns were registered and legal.
Yeah, bro, we gotta look about that nigga, bro.
That nigga ain't even no convicted felon, man. That nigga got registered guns, man. We illegal over this bitch. Man, that nigga got registered guns, man.
Hey.
Clown ass nigga.
Hey, bitch, I been go. I love go like a little mutt. That nigga still got a video with the same one, bro.
That nigga's a goofball, man.
Nigga be goofies out here, man.
Dragon Ball Z card playing ass nigga in school.
But at the end of the day, he survived and they'd failed to kill him.
Like, I sit down in the car seat for like 1-2 seconds, bro. 1 or 2 seconds. Wow. Up to my that's boy. I don't know what that, but that shit sounded like I can't even explain what that shit sounded like. That shit sounded like some more unexplainable Call of Duty, Modern Warfare. I don't know what the fuck that shit sounded like. Crazy shit. So as I'm getting shot at, I go to shoot him back. I under my whole clip though. I shoot my whole clip. Goof ass nigga, I don't know who the nigga is. He drop his clip on the scene. I'm hitting at his ass. He drop his whole clip on the scene. That's why on the news they say they found the clip on the scene, whatnot. So boom. They skirt off. They pull off. After that shit, I hop out the car. I got one slide on. I look down on my foot. I see him bleeding, but I'm like, I see the front. See, I ain't show y'all the back side of my ankle. The front and the back side of my ankle, like, they bleeding and shit. I'm like, damn, I think I got hit. I turned on my flashlight on my phone. I put it all over the car. The car wet up, like,
It soon became a trend for Fulio, posting up his location online, knowing there were ops gunning after him, as if he wanted them to catch him. On May 17, 2023, around 9:40 p.m., police were called to the 3600 block of Effie Street in the Moncrief Park area. Gunfire had erupted. When officers arrived, they found 3 victims, 2 boys and 1 adult male, all suffering life-threatening injuries. They were rushed to the hospital. One of them didn't make it. Adrian Lee McKenzie was 16 years old. He rapped under the name BG YBZ. He was a bully gang member affiliated with 6 Block, Fulio's crew. This wasn't the first time he'd been shot. Before he turned 14, someone shot him in the leg. He had to relearn how to walk, and since then, had been trying to turn his life around.
Well, following tonight, 1 person is dead, another 2 are in the hospital after a shooting. It happened in the Moncrief Park area of Jacksonville around 9:40 last night. 2 boys and 1 man, all shot. Right now, we don't know which of the 3 victims died, and we understand that the circumstances around the shooting are not really known right now, but we are working to get that information. If you know anything about what happened, call the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, or you can remain anonymous and contact Crime Stoppers.
4 days later, May 21, McKenzie's family held a memorial on the same block where he was killed. People gathered on Effie Street to release balloons in his memory. A white car circled the block, and shots rang out, but the shooting only left 1 woman with minor injuries. Hours after McKenzie's murder, ATK member Antonio Tilley Jr. posted a song snippet on social media mocking the dead 16-year-old, and little did he know he'd suffer from that decision very soon. Antonio Tilley Jr. was 19 years old. He rapped under the name Tilley and was ATK. Due to his diss of Mackenzie's murder, by October, there was a $20,000 bounty on his head by KTA, some theorizing Fulio himself. A two-person plot to murder Tilley and split the $20K soon formed. A single mother named Diamond Harris started talking to Tilley, flirting on Instagram. After a while of talking, Harris and Tilley decided to meet up for a date. She gave him an address, 7440 Kylan Drive West on Jacksonville's north side. What Tilley didn't know was that Diamond Harris was not just taken, but was dating a member of KTA, Jaquan Mills, a 22-year-old who'd agreed to kill Tilley. Mills was helping Harris with what to say. Text threads recovered from Mills's phone showed them coordinating, discussing exactly what she should send Tilley to, quote, keep him interested. On the night of October 6, 2023, Tilley called an Uber. His driver was Bryant Grund, a 31-year-old former trucker who began working for Uber to stay close to his family. His mother, Heidi Doyle, and his two younger siblings, ages 12 and 14, were staying at an extended stay America Hotel in Jacksonville. They'd been there about 6 months as Bryant worked hard for them. They were struggling financially. However, some light had shone through. Bryant had just been offered a job at Samsonite, a warehouse management position in Georgia. He wouldn't have to do Uber anymore soon. That was, however, until the night of October 6th.
Grund was working for Uber temporarily to pay the bills.
He was blessed with a job offer at Samsonite not too far from here, and really looking forward to having some fun driving a forklift because he's just a fun-loving guy.
But on Friday, October 6th, police were called to the 7400 block of Kylan Drive West in response to reported gunfire at about 11:45 p.m. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office says 2 adult males were found dead inside a vehicle.
It was around 11:45 p.m. when Bryant Grund picked up Antonio Tilley Jr. and drove him to Kylan Drive West. There, Mills, Jimmy Robinson, and a third man were waiting. They fired at Bryant's Mini Cooper, causing him to go crashing into a home. When police arrived on the scene, they found Bryant and Tilley shot dead inside the car. During the subsequent investigation, at first Mills denied being at the scene, but detectives found the text threads between him and Diamond Harris. He then admitted to doing the job for $10K. Diamond Harris was initially charged as an accessory to murder. 3 weeks later, prosecutors upgraded her charges to 2 counts of second-degree murder. In a letter to the court, she asked Duval County Judge Jonathan Sachs for mercy. She said she was a first-time offender and just wanted to go home to her 2-year-old son and her grandmother.
Since Grund's murder, Doyle's life has been turned upside down. The only car the family had was the one he was using to Uber the night of his murder. It was recently released back to her. Bullet holes are still visible in the windshield. The interior is torn up. It's not drivable. Just before the murder, the family was getting ready to move to Georgia because Grund was set to start a new job, one that would have made him a manager. For Doyle, what hurts most is the future her son was denied.
He wasn't going to be able to make that step. He got shorted that step. And I just still have a hard time understanding, as many do when they lose someone, that they don't get to make the next step here. It's not right. It's not fair. And I want to go back to him.
In July 2024, 9 months after the murders, a third arrest was made. Jimmy Robinson, who was charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder. According to Mills, Robinson had been there during the killing. He'd provided one of the rifles and acted as lookout and getaway driver. The second shooter has never been arrested. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office knows who he is, but he remains at large to this day. Hours after Antonio Tilley Jr. was killed, Fulio was shot for the 3rd time. It happened near the 3100 block of 18th Street West in Jacksonville, less than a mile from Paxson School for Advanced Studies. Fulio was driving a black Dodge Challenger in ATK territory. He was out to get a vape in the early hours of the day. He would later explain on a No Jumper interview that he constantly returned to Jacksonville despite so many people gunning after him and so many traitors in his circle because he loved his city. However, that love would turn deadly that early morning. The car was riddled with bullet holes by shooters who missed Fulio and only shot him in the foot. Despite suffering injuries from the shot, he was able to drive himself to UF Health Jacksonville, survived, and went live. Following his shooting, he made songs flexing the fact that he'd survived yet again. including Get Back, Demigod, and God Don't Know. He's in a wheelchair in all 3 music videos, but it doesn't stop him from dissing on ATK. However, a lot of Foolio's songs began to take on a darker tone throughout this period, and the fact that he constantly leaked his own location, knowing he had ops on him, almost made him seem suicidal. In God Don't Know, Foolio practically states the fact that he'd pass soon. In Get Back, he says to meet him at Hell's Gates. And it was as a result of this that Foolio wouldn't last much longer.
Oh, you knew he was gonna be passing through. Damn. Damn, you knew he was gonna be going slow. They gonna let it, they gonna
3 people charged with his murder in court. All 3 are from Jacksonville, and evidence shows all 3 were in Tampa the same night Julio Foolio was killed.
We can't even fuck with my birthday, man. Everybody coming out of spell.
Foolio's circumstances in Jacksonville had deteriorated to a point where he couldn't record music in his own city. He couldn't trust the majority of the people he knew on the street, and where just being out of the house was a potential death sentence every single day. However, on the night of June 22nd, 2024, Foolio wasn't in Jacksonville. He was in Tampa. For most of Tampa, June 22nd was a very ordinary day. People got home from work, had dinner, and were possibly up watching TV. Some, however, were up watching Foolio's Instagram story. It was his 26th birthday. He posted his location as he changed it throughout the day, getting kicked out of the Airbnb he used for his party, and then to the hotel he went to next.
Got my brother with me, he done popped out for me for my birthday. He done time there, silver lit. Oh God, yeah. We can't even fuck with my birthday, man. Everybody coming out of spell. Oh God, man.
What Foolio didn't know was that an ATK hit squad composed of Isaiah Chance, Alicia Andrews, Rashad Murphy, Rashad's cousin Davion Murphy, and Sean Gathright drove in 2 cars to Tampa that afternoon. They'd booked an Airbnb using Chance's Cash App and were following Foolio as he went from club to club to the Airbnb before going to the hotel around 4 a.m. Chance and Andrews sat in one vehicle and were communicating throughout the day with the other 3, waiting outside the hotel for Foolio to pull up and look for an available room. As Foolio pulled into the lot, all hell broke loose. 3 men ran towards the car with rifles and a Glock with brass catchers to keep the shells from hitting the ground. They then shot Foolio's car 30 times. Foolio attempted to escape the scene, but was shot enough times to die on the spot as the hitmen ran back to their car and the 5-person squad fled. Julio Foolio, Jacksonville's biggest op, was dead.
26-year-old Charles Jones, was also known as Julio Foolio, was reportedly there to celebrate his birthday. I think he was turning, 26 or 27. Police are still trying to figure out.
Okay, here we go. Let me see. Let me read my chat. Dover, we can not hear. Wait a minute. Dover, wait. Dover, we cannot hear what you must. When you, oh, pause. Okay. Here, okay. I feel sorry for the Uber driver. And guess what? This right here, where you see this here, ladies and gentlemen, this is where it's going to start off from. This is where it's going to pick up from. Now, remember now that young kid, Ace. Remember Ace? Ace is out there. Ace is still out there. Remember, he was the one that was on the golf court. So basically, don't forget now, they killed a 7-year-old on Foolio's side. They killed Foolio's brother. But Foolio was antagonized the people, like doing videos at the grave site. So anyway, someone asked him, "Yeah, why you do the video over there on the kid's body?" He said, no, it wasn't nobody grave. He said he just put that there for the video. Anyway, it's things are taking place tomorrow in Tampa. I had to basically get this video and break it. I watched 3 videos and break it all the way down, but I did have to let y'all see, dealing fact with some of these damn no good ass damn daddies, not a father, daddies, how that they can basically turn on their kids too. So the guy turned on his son. His son got life without parole, and the daddy says that he just want to go to the little league football team, the little cheerleaders and little league football team. This is very, very. The story of the Uber driver was very sorry. That man didn't deserve. He didn't deserve that. He didn't deserve that. Wow, man. I had to do it today. On the let's talk for one quick thing. Let's talk about the Turkey Hut. Turkey Hut trial is going on. All day different that Restream is not screaming that. Restream is not screaming that, but they are going to be screaming what we're going to start looking at tomorrow. The trial is going to be up until May 15th. They have 4 of them. 4 of them dealing back with Julio thing. Matter of fact, let me show y'all one more again for the girls in the back. What actually did it happen? Okay, hold on a second. Let's go back right here. Let's go right here.
Hours after Antonio Tilley Jr. was killed, Julio was shot for the 3rd time. It happened near the 3100 block of 18th Street West in Jacksonville, less than a mile from Paxson School for Advanced Studies. Julio was driving a black Dodge Challenger in ATK territory. He was out to get a vape in the early hours of the day. He would later explain on a No Jumper interview that he constantly returned to Jacksonville despite so many people gunning after him and so many traitors in his circle because he loved his city. However, that love would turn deadly that early morning. The car was riddled with bullet holes by shooters who missed Julio and only shot him in the foot. Despite suffering injuries from the shot, he was able to drive himself to UF Health Jacksonville, survived, and went live. Following his shooting, he made songs flexing the fact that he'd survived yet again, including Get Back, Demigod, and God Don't Know. He's in a wheelchair in all 3 music videos, but it doesn't stop him from dissing on ATK. However, a lot of Julio's songs began to take on a darker tone throughout this period, and the fact that he constantly leaked his own location, knowing he had ops on him, almost made him seem suicidal. In God Don't Know, Julio practically states the fact that he'd pass soon. In Get Back, he says to meet him at Hell's Gates. And it was as a result of this that Julio wouldn't last much longer.
Now, this is in Tampa. He been putting up his location. That happened in Tampa.
Three people charged with his murder in court. All 3 are from Jacksonville, and evidence shows all 3 were in Tampa the same night Julio was killed.
We came deep and fuck for my birthday, man. Everybody coming out to spell.
Julio's circumstances in Jacksonville had deteriorated to a point where he couldn't record music in his own city. He couldn't trust the majority of the people he knew on the street, and where just being out of the house was a potential death sentence every single day. However, on the night of June 22nd, 2024, Julio wasn't in Jacksonville. He was in Tampa. For most of Tampa, June 22nd was a very ordinary day. People got home from work, had dinner, and were possibly up watching TV. Some, however, were up watching Julio's Instagram story. It was his 26th birthday. He posted his location as he changed it throughout the day, getting kicked out of the Airbnb he used for his party, and then to the hotel he went to next.
Got my brother with me, he done popped out for me for my birthday. He done time with silver lit, oh God, yeah. Weekend, did before my birthday, man. Everybody coming out to spell. No cap, man.
What Fulio didn't know was that an ATK hit squad composed of Isaiah Chance, Alicia Andrews, Rashad Murphy, Rashad's cousin Davion Murphy, and Sean Gathright drove in 2 cars to Tampa that afternoon. They'd booked an Airbnb using Chance's Cash App and were following Fulio as he went from club to club to the Airbnb before going to the hotel around 4 a.m. Chance and Andrews sat in one vehicle and were communicating throughout the day with the other 3, waiting outside the hotel for Fulio to pull up and look for an available room. As Fulio pulled into the lot, all hell broke loose. 3 men ran towards the car with rifles and a Glock with brass catchers to keep the shells from hitting the ground. They then shot Fulio's car 30 times.
Yeah, they put the 7-year-old weapon for Fulio's side. This is what you're gonna see tomorrow, y'all.
Fulio attempted to escape the scene, but was shot enough times to die on the spot as the hitmen ran back to their car and the 5-person squad fled. Julio Fulio, Jacksonville's biggest op, was dead.
26-year-old Charles Jones was also known as Julio Fulio, was reportedly there to celebrate his birthday. I think he was turning, 26 or 27. Police are still trying to figure out a motive for the shooting, but in some of his songs, he made jokes about the murders of people in other groups as well as rappers.
I heard probably 2 series of shots, maybe like 5 shots each. And then probably like 5 minutes later, just heard some voices.
At that hotel, because according to social media posts, his pool party at an Airbnb was shut down by police. He alerted people, listen, I'm moving my party to this other hotel, so people knew where he was going. And the people who ambushed him allegedly came there to do that. 3 other victims are being treated.
6 days later, Ace released Game Over, which started with the lines, the music video, a sign of his victory,
is more to this here. Basically, what is Ace is doing, because that him and Julio Fulio was at each other's throat. And I want to talk to you guys later about it. I've got to step out. I got a 12:30 appointment, and also to don't forget at 6:30 today we're gonna be doing some scratching, and then at 7 o'clock we're gonna go ahead and start doing some stepping, line dance, stepping. Okay. I see y'all again, but this is what we going for, to give y'all update, give y'all what we gonna be looking at tomorrow, and how did we get here. And then later on, somehow or another, I get y'all and tell y'all what the girl Lisa, the 5 people, and what part that Lisa played in it. Now, y'all remember when y'all heard the other video, it was talking about another chick that she had got the 2nd degree, anyway, she had got life. Manslaughter, whatever that, it was another girl that was in something. Lisa gonna get the same thing. She want a whole new trial and everything, but we'll talk about it. Thank you guys for coming over. If you like my video, please thumb it up and share it out. And I'll see y'all later for exercise, scratching chairs exercise at 6:30, so we can scratch our legs so we can get ready to do the dance.